Chapter 980. These 6 swordsmen seem to be of one mind. With the few of them gathered together, they forcefully created a flying sword formation. If Li Fan had not reached the realm of 10 dragons, dealing with this sword formation would have been a problem. Crane hand. Li Fan stood there, both of his hands continuously striking the flying swords. There were clearly 6 swords, but they were unable to break through the defense of Li Fan's hands. As expected of the little overlord, the ordinary hexagonal swords seemed to be unable to deal with you. The leader of the swordsmen praised, "All of you have it. Yin-yang dual swords." Yes. The other 5 swordsmen took a step back and recalled their black swords. Then they poked the mechanism on the top. A white sword immediately appeared on top of the black sword. The 2 swords danced together and attacked Li Fan from the left and right. The hexagonal sword formation had now doubled, and Li Fan actually found it hard to block it. He crossed his arms, and the Great War God appeared behind him. The Great War God transformed into 6 arms, and continuously used Crane Hand to knock away the surrounding swords. The hexagonal sword formation, yin-yang dual swords, black and white constantly alternated and specifically attacked Li Fan's weak spot. But Li Fan stood there unmoved. He controlled the Great War God and used Crane Hand to counterattack. "It's useless. You can't win against us." The leader of the swordsmen was very confident. "Die obediently." With that, the 6 white swords suddenly descended from the sky, and with a peculiar formation, they fell towards Li Fan. Bang! Li Fan's Great War God knocked away the 6 swords, but the 6 black swords flew from the side, and like a locking formation, they stabbed Li Fan and the Great War God in the center. The 6 swords floated there, releasing a unique sword chi, which actually caused Li Fan to be unable to move. And the 6 swords seemed to be guiding the true chi in Li Fan's body, causing his true chi to pour out in torrents. What's going on? Li Fan felt himself getting weaker and weaker. The 6 swords seemed to be constantly releasing his true chi into the surroundings, like a flood. "This is the God sealing sword." The leading swordsman laughed. "Even if you are a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal, you will not be able to escape from this hexagonal sword array today." Li Fan did not expect the hexagonal sword formation to have such an ability. He was actually suppressed just like that. Li Fan's War God couldn't be maintained any longer and dissipated just like that. As for the other 6 white swords, they descended from the sky once again, using a special array formation to descend upon Li Fan. Li Fan could already sense the malevolence of the power within. Starnet Power Art. Li Fan's eyes widened. He couldn't use the 7 heroes' force for the time being, so he could only use the kung fu of the God connecting meridian. As soon as Li Fan activated the Star Luo divine technique, the true energy in his body uncontrollably displayed a special effect. The life force of the entire campus began to gather into Li Fan's body. He faced the sky and roared. The 6 treasured swords were immediately blown away. However, at this moment, a figure appeared behind Li Fan, holding a black sword in his hand. "I've been waiting for this moment." He stabbed the black sword directly at Li Fan's back. At this moment, Li Fan had just finished switching to the God connecting meridian and released the lion's roar. His body was still in a state of stiffness. Jiang Feng had calculated very well. With this move, Li Fan wouldn't be able to block it at all. Li Fan dodged in an instant, but the sword still pierced through Li Fan's body and came out from the front. A red light flashed in Li Fan's eyes. The 7 demon kings almost exploded. However, he suppressed it at the critical moment. If the inner demons went berserk, the entire G University would probably be razed to the ground by him. Under the state of the Star Power Art, Li Fan couldn't use the moves of his 7 heroes' fist. However, he could still use some rough fighting methods. Scram! The true chi in Li Fan's body suddenly exploded, setting off a small storm that battered the surroundings and sent Jiang Feng flying. "You want to kill me? Dream on." One of Li Fan's eyes had already turned red. He stretched out his right hand, and a green star vortex appeared on his hand. The surrounding objects were all moved towards his right hand. The 6 swordsmen were also affected. Their treasured swords were somewhat out of control and flew towards Li Fan. Hexagonal sword formation. The 6 swordsmen once again activated the sword formation. 6 black swords stabbed towards Li Fan from below. A powerful force guided Li Fan's power and poured it out once again. This hexagonal sword formation was very strange. Even though Li Fan had activated the star power art, he actually couldn't completely resist the pouring power. He soon felt weak again. Jiang Feng raised his treasured sword and approached Li Fan. "Goodbye, little tyrant." Jiang Feng's sword was surrounded by a huge sword chi. He was prepared to cut off Li Fan's head. However, at this moment, a black blade appeared in the sky and directly pounced towards the hexagonal sword formation. The 6 swordsmen felt that something was wrong and immediately dodged. Pooh! The blade cut a long ravine on the ground. Jiang Feng also stopped in his tracks. "We have helpers." The moment the hexagonal sword formation dispersed, Li Fan's star power art was activated once again. The few of them also began to absorb their power towards Li Fan's body. "The time has passed. Let's retreat." Jiang Feng was very rational. He immediately brought the 6 swordsmen from the Black Manor and used his movement technique to quickly leave this place. If they missed their target, they would retreat 1,000 miles away. Jiang Feng knew what he meant. He retreated without hesitation and waited for the next opportunity to kill him. Yushi stood on the roof of a building far away. Looking at Li Fan, who was half kneeling on the ground, she sighed softly. That lord had already ordered that they were not to interfere in Li Fan's matters. "This is the last time I'll help you. Li Fan, good luck. We'll meet again." Yushi turned around. Her long black robe fluttered in the night wind. Under the cover of the night, she disappeared into the G University campus. "Second brother, you're back?" When Li Fan returned to the dormitory, the others were all there. Wang Yang was lying on the upper bunk, studying the Book of Changes. Zhao Yingjun was fiddling with his phone, shaking it vigorously. Meanwhile, Xiang was still sitting in front of the computer, playing LOL. He was in the middle of a fierce battle. I'll go take a shower." Li Fan was covered in dust. He plunged into the bathroom at the side. Why is second brother acting so weird? He must have quarreled with his ex-girlfriend. Women are really troublesome. While the few people outside were discussing, Li Fan stood in the bathroom, bathing himself with hot water. However, he felt very depressed. The hexagonal sword formation actually defeated him. Although he had underestimated his enemy in the beginning, the existence of the hexagonal sword formation was a little too abnormal. It could actually dissipate his power. That was too terrifying. "That's because your power is not complete." Mr. Yang stood in front of Li Fan, looked at him, and said with a smile. Chapter 981. "I'm very annoyed. Don't bother me." Li Fan was in a bad mood and yelled at Mr. Yang. "I'm your most loyal partner." Mr. Yang expressed his grievance. "When you were your lowest and weakest, I was always by your side, wasn't it?" This seemed to be the truth, but Li Fan still felt a bit uncomfortable listening to it. "Li Fan, if you want to become stronger, you must accept my strength." "No, it should be said that you must accept your own strength." "Don't talk nonsense. I want to have the power of the inner demon." Li Fan sneered. "Don't even think about bewitching me. You still don't understand. The inner demon is a part of you." Mr. Yang reminded Li Fan. "Do you want to betray yourself? Rejecting the inner demon is rejecting a part of your strength. How can an incomplete you become the strongest?" "What you said seems to make some sense." Li Fan seemed to understand something. He immediately sat cross-legged in the bathroom, crossed his arms, and entered his visualization world. The world was still divided into two from middle. Half was light, and the other half was darkness. Li Fan looked at the huge warriors standing in the two worlds. He looked at them and had some special thoughts in his mind. In Kung Fu, just like the old urchin who invented the left and right mutual combat, there was a method called doing two things at once. Let the left hand draw a square and the right hand draw a circle. This matter sounded simple, but it was extremely difficult to put into practice. Li Fan once did it. He let himself and the great god of war attack each other, but it was also an accidental improvisation. This was like giving himself a program command. If he wanted to break through the blockade of his brain, it was not something that could be done with just a few words. Come on, who's afraid of who? Li Fan made up his mind, and then tried to let the two warriors slowly leave his world and gather in the middle. But he couldn't achieve the perfect state. Either the dragon god would take one more step, or the 7 demon kings would take 2 steps faster. If he couldn't reach the middle boundary at the same time, his experiment would definitely fail. Fuck! Li Fan was a little depressed. What should he do? But at this time, Mr. Yang stood beside him and looked at him. Have you forgotten about me? Li Fan had a flash of inspiration. Right, since I still have a schizophrenic Mr. Yang, can I rely on him to achieve the most perfect integration? Help me control the 7 demon kings. Beg me. Forget it if you don't want to do it. I admire your stubbornness. All right, since we're on the same side, I'll help you. As Mr. Yang spoke, he snapped his fingers. The 7 demon kings moved again and slowly lifted 1 foot. All right, I'll come too. Li Fan was a little excited. He controlled the divine dragon general to keep pace with the 7 demon kings and walked towards the middle boundary. The 2 huge figures slowly approached each other. Then, in the middle, the 2 of them stretched out their hands and collided in the air. Bang! The palms of the 2 giants collided, and the power of their bodies began to fuse together. At this moment, Li Fan himself also trembled. The God-connecting meridian in his body seemed to have split open, and the power inside was released crazily to the surroundings. The God-connecting meridian was melting, swimming in all of Li Fan's meridians like a liquid. Li Fan's body emitted a dazzling golden light. If he hadn't stayed in the bathroom, he would have definitely shocked the other people in the dormitory. The Star Luo power and the 7 heroes force were fusing together. The 2 powers in Li Fan's body were constantly blending, and the bodies of the 7 demon kings and the divine dragon general were also fusing together. At this moment, Li Fan seemed to hear countless wails and roars. Anger, jealousy, regret, killing. All kinds of negative emotions appeared in Li Fan's body at the same time. Li Fan felt like he was surrounded by evil thoughts. If this continued, he might really not be able to control himself and turn into a demon. However, the inner demon was a part of him. If he didn't learn to accept it, he wouldn't become complete. He had to accept the inner demon, and at the same time, he had to let the inner demon accept him. Everyone had a dark side in their body, and he had to make the dark part submit to him. Li Fan's 7 heroes force suddenly began to exert force. But once the 7 heroes force was too strong, the Star Luo power would weaken, and the 7 demon kings would also be suppressed. This wouldn't work. It seemed that he had to maintain the same rhythm. Li Fan took a deep breath and continued to adjust the rhythm of the 2 powers merging. The light of the God-connecting meridian completely enveloped all of Li Fan's meridians. This time, it was no longer a special meridian that existed alone, but it truly strengthened Li Fan's original meridians and completely merged with his body. The Star Luo power finally spread out, blending with the 7 heroes' force like milk and milk, becoming Li Fan's real power. The 7 heroes' force in his body also broke through, and the 8th star in the sky finally lit up. The sea of mind of Li Fan's visualization world was completely formed, and the day and night began to alternate. At this moment, Li Fan finally entered the realm of a generation's master. He took a deep breath, and the surrounding energy would automatically enter his mouth. But if he didn't want to, the energy wouldn't come near him. His 7 heroes force now should be called the perfect 7 heroes force. When Li Fan opened his eyes, he heard crazy banging on the door outside. Second brother, did you fall asleep in there? I'm going to shit my pants. Zhao Ingjuan's screams came from outside the door. Li Fan couldn't help but smile. He had probably taken a bath in there for a long time. I'm coming out. Wait a minute. Li Fan dried himself with true qi, put on a t-shirt and loose pants, and left the bathroom. Damn, you're finally out. Wang Yang waved his hand. Third brother's fart is about to set the dorm on fire. Zhao Ingjun didn't have time to explain and went into the toilet. Li Fan also pinched his nose. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to the balcony to catch my breath. He took the opportunity to go to the balcony and close the door behind him. Phew! Li Fan breathed out a sigh of relief. After entering the 8th level of the cultivation method, Li Fan felt that his 6 senses had improved significantly. He could even hear the buzzing sound of a girl secretly using a vibrator in the opposite dorm. Not only that, but he also felt that somewhere there seemed to be a powerful force lurking. Was it an expert from another generation's master? It seemed that only by truly reaching this realm could one feel the existence of other experts at the level of a master. Li Fan also felt that it was a lifetime ago. He didn't expect that he was already a master at the level of a master in his first year of university. Wasn't he quite amazing? Mr. Yang seemed to have completely disappeared. It should be said that he had integrated with me. Chapter 982. At this moment, the demon in his heart has become a part of him. Li Fan stands on the balcony, feeling a completely different version of himself. He can't suppress the surging power in his heart, facing the sky, letting out a soundless roar. Following his roar, his true energy directly soars into the sky. Oh, thousands of miles away, a man slowly raises his head, looking at the night sky outside the window. I reach the peak just like that. His expression is a little surprised. As expected of the person I fancy, he sits on the wheelchair, gazing at the starry sky. Soon I will be able to return. Jianghu, Huaxia, even this world will all bow down to me. Without turning his head, he suddenly asks a man kneeling beside him. What? Wang Zui, are you not convinced? Lord, I am convinced. Wang Zui says without hesitation, I have never doubted your strength. But your heart is not here now. The man sighs. Wang Zui, you have learned the indecisiveness of a woman. Sorry, Lord, I have disappointed you. Forget it. You are still useful to me. I will keep you for now. Thank you, Lord. The holy war is about to begin. Start preparing. He wanted to let those incompetent fellows see who is the true king of this world. You may leave. Yes. Wang Zui kneels, crawling out of the room. Li Fan, don't disappoint me. The night passes. Li Fan and the rest wake up early. Early in the morning, they have to prepare for military training. The military training is based on a class. They're the only 4 male soldiers in the class. Li Fan takes out the military uniform issued to him and puts it on. G University is quite rich. This military uniform is also made of decent material, based on the Marines. Wearing it makes him look a little heroic. Look at me. Don't I look like a soldier protecting the country? Zhao Yingjun wears his military uniform, excitedly standing in front of the mirror, looking at himself. Fuck, you look like a spy who infiltrated our army wearing this. Wang Yang rolls his eyes. Don't be so smug. Hurry up, we have to leave. If we're late, the counselor will bite us to death. I don't dare to go out. I'm afraid I'll charm those girls. Hurry up. You two, stop flirting so early in the morning. After Li Fan put on his clothes, he said to them, Let's go. Shall we have breakfast on the way? Forget it, it's too late. Xiang, don't put on your sunscreen. Why would a man put on that stuff? Let's go. Wang Yang grabbed the direction and let a few people out of the door. Many students had already gathered on the field. People from every faculty were wearing different colored military uniforms. For example, Li Fan's class wore a desert yellow Marine Corps uniform, while Lin Yuechisen's class wore a navy blue Navy uniform. This was quite the style of the faculty. G University was quite humanistic in this aspect. Li Fan's instructor was a young soldier who had just joined the army for a year. It was said that he was only 16 years old, but he looked very masculine. Many girls in the class fell in love with him instantly. Our instructor is very handsome. Wang Ying stood in the group and said with a smile, I really want to be in a relationship with the instructor. You're in heat. Zhao Yingjun stood at the side and said sarcastically, he'll return to the army after military training. What's there to talk about? Are you jealous that he's more handsome than you? Wang Ying was already familiar with Zhao Yingjun. She directly said sarcastically, Look at your stomach. Girls don't like it. What's wrong with my stomach? This is called having a big belly. Your stomach isn't a boat. It's full of shit. This Wang Ying was also sharp-tongued. Zhao Yingjun obviously couldn't win against her. Everyone stopped talking. We're preparing for military training. The instructor was quite polite. Let me introduce myself first. My surname is Bai. You can call me Instructor Bai. Can I call you Brother Bai? A little girl shouted sweetly. The instructor's face immediately turned red. After all, he was a little soldier. He couldn't stand the gentleness of these girls. Call me Instructor. This is the rule. Instructor Bai hardened his temper and said, What if I don't abide by the rule? What are you going to do to me? The girl shouted again. Slut. Wang Ying cursed in a low voice. You really don't abide by the rule? Instructor Bai looked at the girl. She stroked her hair coquettishly, causing the instructor to blush and avert his eyes. Yeah, Brother Bai, what are you going to do to me? This student, go out and run 3 laps around the field. The girl was dumbfounded. The others were also shocked. They all thought that the instructor was easy to bully. They didn't expect him to be so difficult to deal with. Can you not run? Then you can forget about your military training credits. Instructor Bai was merciless. The girl could only run away with a sullen face. Everyone remember, I'm your instructor. After 15 days, we can be friends and joke around. But within these 15 days, you must respect me and obey my command. The instructor glanced at all the students. Did you all hear me? I heard you weakly. Louder. Didn't you eat? The little soldier showed his power and roared. He was not angry. I heard you. Everyone was shouting, including the girls. They were almost hysterical. That's more like it. The instructor was very satisfied and nodded. All of you, stand in military posture for an hour. After the instructor finished speaking, he also stood in front of them, motionless like a statue. It was summer, especially in a place like G City. The heat was baking all the students. Whether it was boys or girls, they were all spoiled at home. After just standing for 10 minutes, all of them could not stand it anymore. Some of them were swaying. Can't stand it so soon. Instructor Bai snorted. It said that college students nowadays are like trash. I thought it was an exaggeration, but I didn't expect it to be true. Instructor, we have never stood like this before. Zhao Yingjun was already sweating and couldn't help but say, Come out and squat on the spot for 30 times. Next time you want to say something, remember to report to the instructor first. Instructor Bai said mercilessly, Those who don't report will be punished. This is my first time. Instructor Zhao Yingjun was about to cry. 20 more times. Zhao Yingjun really cried. Reporting to the instructor, this time he learned to be smart. The instructor nodded. Say it. I made a mistake for the first time. Please be merciful, then reduce it by 10 times. Instructor Bai was not particularly ruthless. Pay attention next time. Yes, Zhao Yingjun had no choice but to walk out obediently and began to squat awkwardly. Chapter 983. The physical strength of this generation was indeed lacking. Li Fan stood in the crowd and looked at Zhao Yingjun, who was about to collapse from squatting. He wanted to laugh, but also felt a little sympathetic. He held up his hand and shouted loudly. Reporting to the instructor, Speak. Instructor, he can't do it anymore. Give him a lighter punishment. He just jumped 20 times, and he can't do it anymore. Instructor Bai looked at Zhao Yingjun, who was drenched in sweat and looked exhausted. Look at your fat body. How can you not train? Reporting to the instructor, I really can't do it anymore. Zhao Yingjun had no energy to speak and looked like he was about to pass out at any time. Li Fan was a little worried. If he squatted a few more times, he would completely see God. You're his roommate, right? Instructor Bai glanced at Li Fan. Yes. Li Fan nodded. There's still 20 left. You can do it for him. Sure. Without hesitation, Li Fan took a step forward. But the punishment can't be so simple if you want to do it. Instructor Bai said, If you want to do it, you have to double it, 40. Okay. Li Fan agreed, then put his hands behind his back and began to squat on the spot. 40 squats were nothing to Li Fan, and he finished it easily. He deliberately maintained the rhythm of his body and didn't make it too fast, lest it was too shocking. Yo, not bad. Instructor Bai looked at Li Fan and was a little surprised. I thought you couldn't do 20. Reporting to the instructor, I have trained my body. Li Fan stood up and said, I've made the instructor worry. Okay, go back. Instructor, but I didn't make things difficult for them. Remember next time, if you make a mistake, you have to be punished. Do you understand? Yes. This time, the students in the class shouted together, and instructor Bai was very satisfied. Not bad, this is like a vigorous college student. Continue to stand in the military posture for an hour. He ordered, and all the students continued to stand. It wasn't easy for these students to endure the scorching sun. However, the instructor did not say anything else. He stood there and shared the scorching sun with everyone else. Bang! A girl seemed to have suffered a heat stroke and collapsed, lying on the ground. Instructor, she can't hold on any longer. Wang Ying glanced at her and pursed her lips. Wasn't it just standing for an hour? She couldn't even take it? They were all girls, so they were too delicate. All right, send him to the infirmary. Instructor Bai wasn't here to kill anyone. The main purpose of this military training was to train the students' physique and willpower. However, there were some students with suboptimal health. Their bodies were too weak, and there was nothing that could be done about it. I'll send them off. I'm in the same dormitory as her. I'll go. The girls shouted together. What's with all the noise? Was there a need for so many people? All of you are from the same class. Why don't you go together? Are you organizing a group activity? Although instructor Bai was only 16 years old, his words were sharp. Everyone became obedient after hearing his sarcasm. She's suffering from heat stroke, not giving birth. 2 people can carry her there. You too, take her there. Yes, instructor. The 2 girls closest to her were called. It was obvious that her classmate was suffering from heat stroke, but the 2 of them seemed to be a little happy. Stop it. Your classmate is suffering from heat stroke. Why are you all acting like it's a festival? What are you so happy about? The instructor couldn't help but scold the 2 of them. Hurry up. I'll give you 20 minutes. If you can't come back by then, run to the field. Yes, instructor. The 2 girls hurriedly carried the girl away. You students, how can you shoulder the great responsibility of building the motherland in the future? Instructor Bai looked at these students who couldn't stand steadily and couldn't help but ridicule them. If our country relies on you to carry guns to war, won't it be beaten to the point of peeing blood? Reporting instructor. Wang Ying couldn't help but finally said, We are not soldiers. We are students. Please don't use your standards to measure us. Oh, interesting. The instructor pointed at Wang Ying. Come out and talk. Yes. Wang Ying stepped forward, walked out of the crowd, and stood in front of the instructor. What's your name? Wang Ying. Wang Ying. I remember you're the class monitor of this class, right? The instructor looked at the list of students in their class. Yes. Temporary. Wang Ying put her hands behind her back. Although her body was thin and weak, she didn't have the slightest intention of giving in. Li Fan said that this girl's character was similar to Lin Yuechen, so stubborn. But being stubborn was easy to break, which wasn't necessarily a good thing. Huaxia had always pursued the path of moderation. It wouldn't do to be too fierce or too feminine. Class monitor, no wonder you're so bold. The instructor nodded and looked at Wang Ying. You're quite blunt with your words. Aren't you afraid of being punished? Reporting, instructor, only mistakes will be punished. I didn't make a mistake, so I shouldn't be punished. Who told you that you didn't make a mistake? The instructor immediately said, in the army, contradicting the instructor is a mistake. Reporting instructor, this is a school, not the army. You're still throwing a tantrum. Instructor Bai smiled. Let me ask you, what did you call me? Instructor. Okay, then what are we doing now? Military training. Then we're in the army. Instructor Bai suddenly roared, causing Wang Ying to tremble in fear. What did I tell you just now? We're training now. I'm your instructor. You must respect me and listen to my command. Are you going to contradict me? You do 30 push-ups. I'll do it. Who's afraid of you? Wang Ying was unconvinced. She lay on the ground. An instructor Bai added a sentence. 30 push-ups. Are you convinced? Not convinced. Okay, then add another 30. Wang Ying didn't say a word and sat there silently doing push-ups. 60 push-ups. Are you convinced? Not convinced. Wang Ying said very loudly. Okay, then do 100. Do it until you're convinced. Wang Ying was still so stubborn and continued to do push-ups. Even if it was very difficult, she didn't say anything and continued to do one after another. She did 100 push-ups. Are you convinced? Instructor Bai suddenly asked these students. Convinced. No one dared to refute. Convince my ass. Instructor Bai seemed to be really angry this time. Especially you 4 boys. Are you just going to watch the girls in your class get punished? Instructor Bai, I'm willing to do 10 for her. Wang Yang was good at calculating and had a good eye. Seeing that the instructor was angry, he quickly said cleverly, One man do 10, 20, double 40. Wang Yang was about to cry, but he still obediently lay on the ground and began to do push-ups. Can I do 10? Zhao Ingjun was already exhausted and asked weakly. Chapter 984. Who are you talking to? Didn't I teach you just now? Instructor Bai's eyes widened. Reporting to the instructor, I can only do 10. Fine, do it. Instructor Bai was very efficient. Zhao Ingjun didn't dare to say anything else and immediately helped with the push-ups. How many do you want to do? The instructor asked Xiang Dong. 10. Xiang Dong was spoiled since he was a child. His body was very weak. How could he do so many push-ups? 10. Aren't you embarrassed? 15. Xiang Dong said timidly. I can't do more. You're a vegetable seller in the market. You're bargaining with me. The instructor looked at his small body and said, Then make it 15. Double 30. Hurry up and do it. After the instructor finished, he looked at Wang Ying, who was still working hard on the push-ups. They helped you with 45. You did 20, so there's still 35 left. I don't need their help. I can do it myself. Wang Ying was still unconvinced. Good boy, I underestimated you. The instructor couldn't help but laugh. All right, you can get up. I'm not getting up. Wang Ying's eyes were a little red. She was holding back her anger. Then continue. The instructor didn't stop her. His eyes fell on Li Fan. How much do you want to do? Li Fan smiled, reporting to the instructor. If they can't finish it, it's all mine. You're good. I didn't know you were such a troublemaker. The instructor clapped his hands. To tell you the truth, before I came, the class monitor told me that you must be ruthless. On the first day of training, you must be ruthless. You college students are all fearless. Only when you're afraid of me can I control you. Do you remember what I just told you? In the army, you must listen to your superior's orders. So don't blame me. If you want to blame someone, blame our class monitor. He thought for a moment and continued. I'll give you the class monitor's phone number later. If you can't sleep at night, you can call him to scold him. Li Fan was speechless. This instructor Bai was really two-faced. He probably had been trained by his class monitor in the army. Bang! After doing 10 directions, he couldn't do it anymore. He lay on the ground with no strength in his wrists. Instructor, I can't take it anymore. Zhao Ingjun did 8 and couldn't do any more. Wang Yang's stamina wasn't bad, but he was starting to feel tired after doing 15. Only Wang Ying continued to do push-ups silently. Her forehead was covered in sweat, but she didn't seem to be discouraged at all. You guys are not even as good as a woman. The instructor looked down on the few boys in the class. You said it's for them, right? Let me help you calculate. The instructor pointed. He's 20 behind. He then pointed at Zhao Ingjun. This little fatty is short of 12. The instructor looked at Wang Yang. Can you still do it? No, I can't. Wang Yang made 25, but he really couldn't do it anymore. Second bro, I really can't take it anymore. Wang Yang was as tired as a dog. He's short of 15. Your class monitor is still doing it. The instructor counted his fingers. Now he's short of 47. You do double. I'll give you a 0. 90, how about it? Yes, instructor. Li Fan directly lied down and followed Wang Ying to do push-ups. Wang Ying did it while sweat dripped from her head. She gritted her teeth at Li Fan. Get up. I don't need your help me. I'm not helping you. I'm helping my brother. Li Fan said bluntly. How much you want to do? That's your freedom. I've never sympathized with you. Just do your own thing. Damn, you. Where's your gentlemanly demeanor? You, this woman, are a psychopath. Li Fan and Wang Ying quarreled for a while. Wang Ying couldn't speak anymore. so she simply closed her mouth and continued to do push-ups. Li Fan also continued to do it. 90 push-ups for him had almost no effect. It was as simple as drinking water. But Wang Ying's 100 push-ups couldn't be done no matter what. When she reached the 40th, she was already sweating profusely. Bang! She finally fell heavily to the ground. Her hair and face were covered with sweat and mud. She seemed to have fainted. Help her to the infirmary. As soon as instructor Bai finished speaking, Wang Ying opened her eyes again. Then she put her arms on the ground and began to prop herself up little by little. The instructor couldn't speak. Wang Ying was in a very difficult situation, but she never said a soft word. At this time, Li Fan supported himself with one hand on the ground and continued to do push-ups. His other hand stretched out and grabbed Wang Ying's collar. Wang Ying's vision was blurred. She just continued to do push-ups subconsciously. Now that she had become a lot more relaxed, she didn't notice it. In everyone's surprised eyes, Li Fan did push-ups with one hand while holding Wang Ying with the other hand and did it with her. This arm strength, this physical strength, it was simply amazing. Instructor Bai felt a little incredible. He didn't stop them and watched Li Fan finish all the punishments with Wang Ying. Reporting to the instructor, Wang Ying completed 100 push-ups and I completed 90. Li Fan clapped his hands and stood up. Wang Ying was also dizzy. She wanted to get up, but her body shook. Li Fan reached out again, grabbed her arm, and supported her. Wang Ying was a little dizzy. Li Fan handed her to her roommate. She's fine. She just needs to rest. Li Fan said to her roommate. Well, the girl hugged Wang Ying and then secretly gave Li Fan a thumbs up. Amazing, really amazing. Instructor Bai clapped his hands and praised. You kid, you make me look at you in a different light. Thank you, instructor. Then I'll return to the team. Li Fan bowed slightly to Instructor Bai and then returned to his position. You've all seen it. If you contradict the instructor in the future, this is the result. Instructor Bai still carried out his class monitor's words to the end. On the first day, he implemented the terrible military training education. After an hour of military posture, he let the class rest for 10 minutes and then continued with the next hour of training. The content of the military training was actually not complicated. Then they continued to practice marching. Li Fan showed his strong physical strength, and Instructor Bai didn't say anything else. After the training, Li Fan also kept a low profile and didn't do anything too excessive. Finally, it was noon break time, and Zhao Yingjun was about to collapse. After the instructor dismissed them, like other students, they all sat on the ground, gasping for breath. Li Fan bought 3 bottles of water from the nearby canteen and handed them to them. You guys should have a good exercise. Don't make trouble. You think everyone is like you, monster. Chapter 985. Zhao Yingjun was now scared to death of Li Fan. What kind of physical strength did this guy have to be able to easily do push-ups in that kind of situation? Was he a pervert? Lao air. How do you usually train? Wang Yang was also exhausted. Doing push-ups and standing military posture was a bit too much for a burly Shandong man like him. Not to mention Xiang, a technical otaku. He didn't even care about being dirty. He rested his head on the trash can next to him. Keep running every morning and evening to get more protein. Li Fan casually made up a story. Is that useful? Zhao Yingjun was a bit doubtful. I've run for a while, but every time I come back after running, I get hungrier and eat more. You have to eat something high in protein and low in fat. Xiang was indeed a technical otaku. He immediately followed up. If you finish running, drink Coke and eat chips, it will be a waste of time. Damn, how did you know? Zhao Yingjun curled his lips. Anyway, I can't take exercise. Don't talk about Lao, that little girl Wang Ying is also quite strong. Wang Yang couldn't help but ridicule. That girl is too fierce. Look at that petite body. She did so many push-ups in one go and nothing happened. She is quite strong. Zhao Yingjun thought about it and couldn't help but shiver. If he were to marry this woman in the future, he would definitely be squeezed dry. Too scary. You guys, why are you talking about a little girl? Li Fan despised them. Besides, she is indeed stronger than you. Look at the way the instructor looks at you. Don't you understand? What can I do? I don't want to either, Zhao Yingjun sighed. I've been like this for a few years. How can I just change? How am I going to spend the next 14 days in one afternoon? You might as well kill me. I really can't take it anymore. Good for nothing. Wang Ying walked over at this time. She wiped the sweat from her forehead and looked at Zhao Yingjun, who was almost lying on the ground. You're a man, yet you say you can't take it anymore. If you really can't take it anymore, what about your wife? Just cut it off now. Wang Ying's poisonous tongue made Zhao Yingjun speechless. You should train for the next 15 days. Yesterday, your roommates mocked you for looking like a turtle prime minister. Have you forgotten? You were the one who asked me to act. I chose you out of respect for your image, Gu Shunwei said. Wang Ying immediately argued, and a few of them were really laughing at you, idiot. Zhao Yingjun's mouth wasn't stupid, but when he met Wang Ying, he couldn't speak. All right, stop mocking him. He wasn't born to be so fat. Li Fan advised. Losing weight is something that has to be done slowly. Don't talk about him, you too. Wang Ying looked at Li Fan, a little angry. Who asked you to help me just now? Did I give in? You didn't let me. I wanted to. Li Fan laughed. If you're not convinced, then bite me. You bastard, don't you know what a gentleman is? I really don't understand how Shun Chen fell in love with you. Everyone was Shun Chen's fan, and Wang Ying seemed a little angry when she mentioned this. Can we not mention her? That woman is a psychopath. Li Fan suddenly exploded. She said that I'm her boyfriend. Is she crazy? Look at the way she treats me. Does it look like she likes me? As soon as Li Fan's voice fell, there was a burst of cheers from the crowd around him. Li Fan turned his head and saw Shun Chen wearing a clean little denim shirt, slowly walking towards him. He suddenly felt his scalp tingle and thought, not good. But now it was during the military training period, and the training was about to start. It was not easy for him to get away. Shun Chen also took advantage of this opportunity to walk in front of Li Fan. Dear, I'm here to see you. Shun Chen took out an energy drink from her bag and handed it to Li Fan in full view of the crowd. Here you go, it's still cold. You must be thirsty, drink it quickly. Shun Chen saw that Li Fan didn't take it, but she laughed. Dear, you're so naughty. Are you too tired to take it? It doesn't matter, I'll feed you. With that, Shun Chen opened the bottle cap, then took out a straw, inserted it inside, and handed it to Li Fan's mouth. At an angle that others couldn't see, Shun Chen glared at Li Fan, meaning that if you dare not drink it, this old mother will not let you off. Li Fan had no choice but to take the drink himself, pull out the straw, and drink it in one gulp. Too enviable. Zhao Yingjun sat on the side and was about to cry. Why am I not the second brother? Hoo, how am I worse than him? Wang Ying looked at Zhao Yingjun helplessly, thinking, how can you say this? Dear, are you tired? Do you want me to massage your shoulders? Shun Chen was as gentle as water and asked in Li Fan's ear. Many people were going crazy. The big star Shun Chen personally massaged his shoulders. My God, this is the treatment of a god. They also want it. No need. My shoulders are fine. Li Fan was particularly helpless. This girl is a bit too much. You go do your thing. I had a good time in the military training. How is it pleasant? Everyone wailed in their heart. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't have any classes today. I'll just accompany my dear. There's no place for you to rest here. Li Fan gestured. Shun Chen said and pointed to the flower bed next to her. I'll sit here. As soon as Shun Chen's voice fell, several boys immediately ran over and scrambled to lay their cushions on the flower bed. Please sit down. Sit on mine, it's dirty. Fart, it's clean. I just bought it. A few boys were about to fight, but Shun Chen smiled at them. Thank you, I'll sit on this. The boy who was chosen was so excited that he almost fainted. Shun Chen, here's your umbrella. A little girl also ran over and held her umbrella for Shun Chen. Shun Chen's charm almost killed both men and women. Thank you. Shun Chen nodded to her to express her gratitude. There were also several students who boldly came over and gave Shun Chen an umbrella, water, and food. Shun Chen quickly placed a lot of snacks and water around her. She sat there and looked at Li Fan with a smile. There was also a student who contributed a small portable fan to help Shun Chen blow by the side. You see, isn't this a good place? Looking at Shun Chen's expression, Li Fan was also quite helpless. This woman is incurable. Aren't you afraid of the reporters? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. Chapter 986. Reporter. Shin Shun tilted her head and looked at Li Fan. Did you forget? This is a university campus. Not just anyone can come in. The school leaders have been conducting a strict investigation these days. All reporters are not allowed to enter the campus. You have the final say in the school? Not really. Shin Shin winked at Li Fan. It's just that the dean is my fan. Fuck. Li Fan was unhappy. This celebrity was too much. She even had this kind of privilege. Unreasonable. It doesn't matter. You are my boyfriend. You can also enjoy the privilege that I can enjoy. You can even enjoy me, right? Shin Shin proudly said to Li Fan, making Li Fan almost vomit blood. She was not trying to seduce him. She was just showing off. You win. Then you sit here slowly. I am going to the military training. Li Fan was defeated by Shun Shun. He was about to leave, but suddenly turned his head and pointed to a corner in the distance. You're going to be in the headlines. Shin Shin looked over there and found a reporter lying on top of it, constantly taking photos. It's nothing. The corner of Shun Shin's mouth slightly rose and then pretended to panic and shouted, God, how could there be someone secretly taking photos of me in the school? This is too much. As soon as Shun Shan finished shouting, several boys immediately rushed to the corner of the wall over there, scaring the reporters into jumping over the wall and running away. Fuck, this Shun Shin was really good at using her ability. All right, I am too lazy to care about you. Military training. The instructor blew the whistle, so Li Fan turned around and left. Dear best. Shin Shan made a cheering gesture at Li Fan. The surrounding students were envious. They also wanted Shun Shun to cheer. Everyone do your best. In addition to being willful to Li Fan, in front of everyone, Shin Shun maintained the image of a pure jade girl. She seemed to have guessed these people's thoughts, so she made a blowing kiss gesture at the Chinese department's military training crowd. God, Shin Shun cheered for me. She blew a kiss at me. Nonsense. She was obviously blowing a kiss at me. It's me. Some people even quarreled, and the instructor had to step in to maintain order. Li Fan had no choice but to open the door. Shun Shun, this woman, her celebrity effect was too scary. Thinking about it, if it wasn't for the protection given to her by the dean, it would have been difficult for her to move an inch in this university. Li Fan, right? Come here for a moment. After the instructor asked everyone to stand properly, he asked Li Fan to walk in front of him. Then, he put his arm around Li Fan's shoulder and whispered in front of him. Later, can I have Shin Shin give me an autograph? Fuck instructor Bai, are you a fan too? That's not idol chasing. I'm just appreciating art, you know? Instructor Bai rolled his eyes at Li Fan. Besides, what era are we living in? We soldiers are not isolated from the world. What's wrong with liking Shin Shin? I bought a few of her CDs. It's a pity that I didn't bring it to the army, Sai. All right, instructor, I understand your feelings, but this autograph, we're all men. Let's be frank. Instructor Bai hugged Li Fan tightly. This is a mission from above. What fucking mission? Can I do it? As an instructor, do I still need to beg you? All right. Li Fan said that it was better to let him fight, asking for Shun Chen's autograph. Li Fan glanced at Shun Shun, who was sitting there. This girl was holding her mobile phone and posing for a selfie. She noticed that Li Fan was looking at her and waved happily at Li Fan. This crazy woman. I really don't want to get close to her. Li Fan sighed. How'd I get into such trouble? That's more like it. Return to the team. The instructor's mood seemed to be much better. The following training was much easier. Second brother, did you make a secret deal with the instructor? Zhao Yingjun could not help but lower his voice and ask Li Fan, why is the training so much easier now? Zhao Yingjun, step out. Instructor Bai shouted loudly, scaring Zhao Yingjun so much that he trembled. Who allowed you to speak? 20 squats. Begin. Zhao Yingjun was about to cry. Li Fan gloated. Who asked you to be so cocky? You said the training intensity was low, right? After 20 squats, walk 3 rounds around the field in unison. Instructor Bai ordered, shout the slogan yourself. Louder and louder so that I can hear you. If you can't hear it, walk again. Yes. Zhao Yingjun really cried. Li Fan was training. Shen seemed a little bored and took out her mobile phone to watch a movie. She even cried when she saw a touching scene. Her tear-stained face attracted the heartache of many boys. They could not wait to hug Shen in their arms and comfort her. Unfortunately, these are just thoughts. After all, Shen was already taken, and she was a grassroots. Thinking about it made me angry. It was not easy for female idols to find a partner. If they found a tall, rich, and handsome man, people would think that they were vain and greedy. If they found someone in the same industry, they would be besieged by their fans. If they found a grassroots loser, people would think that they had been fucked by a dog. Therefore, for the development of some female idols, the agency had a rule that they were not allowed to fall in love during their career. Korea was the strictest in this aspect. Many Korean artists could only fall in love in secret. If they were found out, they would die miserably. Although the mainland was a little more relaxed, it was not much better. There were probably not many who were as willful as Shen. Li Fan could not do anything to Shen, so he simply ignored her and did whatever she wanted. But he did not know that at this time, City A was also a little excited. Fifan Escort Agency. Shueiwe, what are you looking at? Yang Shueiwe heard Xia Yi's voice behind her, and she dropped her mobile phone in shock. What's the matter? Why are you so scared? Xia Yi picked up her mobile phone and saw a news headline. Shen falls in love with a college student. Below was a big photo of Li Fan. Xia Yi's eyes widened. Red Dragon Society, Lu Group. Smack! Lu Xinan smashed a vase, and Yufeng next to her did not dare to say a word. Book me a ticket to City G, the fastest one. Yes, Murong Villa. Murong likes to run away. Murong Ying frowned when she heard the servant's report. She glanced at the news on her mobile phone and stared at Li Fan's photo for a long time. I'll be away for a few days. Don't tell my father. Leaning on the sword and laughing at the breeze. Big snow mountain. Girlfriend? Luo Shu looked at the iPad screen held by one of her subordinates and chuckled. This guy is not honest. Night Rain Tower, Guomingming, you too, come with me. Are we going to find him? Night Rain Tower asked hurriedly. Yes, we're going to catch the husband. Luo Shuwu had already walked out of the hall. Chapter 987. Li Fan, do you want to have lunch together? Lin Yuichisen was also wearing a blue military uniform. Under the gazes of a group of boys, she walked towards Li Fan. Shen immediately became alert. She stood up and grabbed Li Fan, who had just been dismissed. Sorry, he's my boyfriend. We're going to have lunch together. Lin Yuichisen only glanced at Shen indifferently, then turned to look at Li Fan. The ramen at the entrance is quite delicious. Shall I treat you today? Zhao Yingjun and the others, who were planning to eat with Li Fan, immediately said in a low voice when they saw this situation. Let's eat by ourselves. Yes. The few of them immediately slipped away. Hey, don't you have any manners? Although Shen was angry that the second person to ignore her was Li Fan was obviously the most important. She had not finished taking revenge on Li Fan yet. How could she give him to another girl? Wouldn't that mean that she was inferior to others? Thinking of this, she glared at Li Fan. You brought her to eat ramen? There's a roasted cold noodles at the entrance. It's quite authentic. Do you want to try it? Lin Yuichisen stepped forward and held Li Fan's other arm as she spoke gently. That's enough. He's my boyfriend. Shen pulled Li Fan back and glared at Lin Yuichisen. You're interesting. Can you be so thick-skinned just because you're a celebrity? Lin Yuichisen's eloquence was the best that Li Fan had ever seen. You unilaterally claimed that he's your boyfriend. Did he agree to it? He's my boyfriend. Whatever I say is what I say. Why don't you say that there are two suns in the sky and that the United States is Huaxia's territory? Lin Yuichisen rolled her eyes and then stuck close to Li Fan, looking at Shen as if she was demonstrating. Moreover, Li Fan and I have been in a relationship for a long time. I know him, but do you? I don't need to understand him. Shen immediately shouted. I only need to be responsible for being as beautiful as a flower. so that he will love me enough? I think you're a psychopath living in your own world. Lin Yuchizan said bluntly. Wake up. Do you think that every man in the world likes you? Girl, you've gone too far. I'm just telling the truth. The two women were like two little hens, and they began to oppose each other. Li Fan had had enough. He waved his hand and pushed the two women away. You two keep arguing. I'm going to eat. Li Fan, don't go. Did I allow you to leave? Come back. Li Fan, I'm sorry. My words were a little harsh. I apologize. Don't be angry. One of the two girls stomped her feet in place, while the other stepped forward and once again took Li Fan's arm. Damn it, don't take advantage of me. Shinshin thought for a long time, stomped her feet, decisively followed up, and pulled Li Fan's other arm. My God, I think tomorrow's news headlines will come out again. Wang Ying was stunned from a distance. Shinshin and a mysterious beauty fighting for a man's affection. My God, the recent headlines will be taken by Shun Shun. My leather pants peak. This Li Fan, what kind of charm does he have to make so many beautiful women fight for his affection? There were other girls in the class who also couldn't understand. And Li Fan has been half pulled and half dragged into the cafeteria. Two beautiful women, one on the left and one on the right, sat around him. He didn't even have the opportunity to eat. There were already several kinds of food in front of him. This spicy mix is the specialty of our cafeteria. As a sophomore, Shun Shun played to her advantage, pointed to the large portion of spicy mix in front of her, and said, It's delicious. I specifically ordered a large portion. Let's eat together? How many times do you come to school a year? Lin Yuchizan bluntly ridiculed. If you can come twice, then you'll have changed. Do you know what's delicious in the cafeteria? She said and pushed the twice-cooked pork rice she bought in front of Li Fan. Li Fan used to like this, so I specifically found the best. Are you done yet? Do you want to compete with me? Shen Shen angrily glared at Lin Yuchizan. There's no such thing. Lin Yuchizan smiled sweetly. I have never regarded you as an opponent because you're too annoying. You dare to say that this lady is annoying? I'm just telling the truth. If those fans knew your true colors, they would have long become passers-by. Lin Yuchizan's words were like poisonous thorns, poking at Shen Shen, making her so angry that she wanted to explode. All right, can you two stop for a while? Can't you two concentrate on eating? It was said that a woman was equal to 500 ducks. Li Fan felt that this was not an exaggeration at all. If you continue to quarrel, I won't have any appetite. Even if he had good self-restraint, this was a bit unbearable. What was there for two women to quarrel about? It was just a meal. Must they be at each other's throats? Li Fan is right. Let's stop quarreling. Lin Yuchizan nodded. I'm a bit childish. I'm really sorry. Let me feed you. Hey. Shen Shen quickly picked up the chopsticks, picked up a piece of chili, and was about to shove it into Li Fan's mouth. Stop. Eat your own food. Li Fan was so angry that he wanted to laugh. Both of you sit here. I'll go buy something I want to eat. When I come back, if any of you dare to quarrel, don't blame me for turning around and leaving. With that, Li Fan got up and left. Shun Shun pouted her mouth, thinking that if it wasn't because this lady wanted to retaliate against you, I wouldn't fall for this. Humph. Lin Yuchizan did not say anything, just mixing the rice on her plate. Is a streaky pork not good? Hey, when did you know Li Fan? Hey, say something. Hey, are you mute? Lin Yuchizan finally put down her fork and turned to look at Shun Shen seriously. Senior sister, you're quite beautiful, but I think a beautiful woman who doesn't learn etiquette is just a vase. Who doesn't know etiquette? I've been specially trained. Then you don't know how to call him by his name? I called, hey? You? What's your name? Lin Yuchizan. The moon rises from the forest. Chong. East soars to immortality. You're too good at beautifying yourself. My name is Shun Shun. Everyone in China knows you as Shun Shun. Then when did you know Li Fan? Junior sister Lin Yuchizan. In high school, Lin Yuchizan seemed to think of the past and could not help but laugh. At that time, Li Fan was still a silly and stupid boy. He's not much smarter now. If you don't think he's good, you can quit. I just love how stupid he is. Can I? You can. Lin Yuchizan looked at Shun Shen up and down and then laughed. Shin Shin felt a little uncomfortable being laughed. She looked at Lin Yushin and asked, what are you laughing at? You don't like Li Fan? Chapter 988. What nonsense are you talking about? Shin Shin became a little nervous and looked at Lin Yuichisen. You don't like Li Fan. Lin Yuichisen repeated it again, but Shin Shin glared at her. We agreed, not a quarrel. Don't start a fight, little junior sister. Senior Shin Shun. Although I am in the English department, I will study psychology a year later. Lin Yuichiden stared at Shun Chen's eyes. You have shown a lot of psychology from the beginning until now, including the way you look at Li Fan and some of your little movements toward Li Fan. It all proves one thing. You don't like Li Fan, you just have a desire to possess him. So you want to win Li Fan's favor, right? What nonsense. There is no theoretical basis at all. Is that so? Lin Yuichiden said very confidently. Duncan, who has a master's degree in psychology in the United States, once said that the safe distance between people is 2 meters. Other than when you deliberately want to fight with me, you have always kept a distance of more than 1 meter from Li Fan. You show intimacy on the surface, but you can't deceive your heart. Lin Yuichisen pointed to Shun Chen's position. Even where you're sitting now, you're consciously or unconsciously protecting your own subconscious. Do you see? You're sitting in the outermost row, and your position is very close to the door. All this shows that Li Fan can't give you a sense of security, and you don't really like him. If you like him, you want him to invade your safe zone. That's nonsense. Shun Shin seemed to be slightly panicked, but she was also a person who had experienced many big scenes, so she slowly calmed down. I naturally like Li Fan, but I have the reservation that a girl should have. What do you want to see? Me and Li Fan having sex on the cafeteria table. Lin Yushin was drinking milk tea, and when she heard this, she almost spat it out. How are you so reserved? You'll get it over time. Little girl, don't play with me like this. I won't fall for it. Shin Shin showed her shrewish side again. There's nothing I can't get if I want it. I'm a girl doted on by the heavens. If you fight with me, you're going against the heavens. Senior sister, you're really too arrogant. Lin Yuchisen couldn't help but sigh. Maybe you think it's because of your personal charm, but Li Fan just happens to be the one who doesn't fall for it. Of course, I'll teach him a lesson. Shinshin was still full of confidence. He was about to say a few more words when he suddenly saw a sturdy boy walking over. His hair was dyed red and his muscles were bulging. One look and you could tell that he had been training all year round. He did not seem to have good intentions. King Kong? Seeing this man, Shunshin was not surprised, but just frowned. What are you doing here instead of following your master? King Kong was his nickname. This brother was from the sports department and was always by Zhongguo's side. In Shunshin's eyes, he was not much different from a dog. This reminded her of the red-haired Tibetan Mastiff by Boss Ma's side. Young master wants me to ask you, is Li Fan really in love with you? King Kong's voice was muffled. His words were like the ringing of a bell. Of course he is. Aren't you talking nonsense? Shinshin was quite unhappy. What kind of person am I? A popular idol that no one dares to approach. Would I joke around with my future? That's good. King Kong continued. Young master wants you to tell him to stay away from Lu Wan or else he'll break his leg. Your family's young master is really funny. Shinshin laughed. Let him fart in front of me. What's the meaning of sending a dog to bark? Shun, don't go too far. King Kong seemed to be about to get angry. I'm going too far, what a joke. Shun ridiculed. Take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror before talking to this lady. You're asking for a beating. King Kong was someone who practiced sports. He was hot-blooded, and it was hard to suppress his temper. Although his family was not very rich, it was still a well-off family. King Kong's father was a small board member in Zhongguo's family. His father also wanted his son to play with the young master more, so that when the young master inherited the family business, his son would have a share. King Kong had a bad temper, and even Zhongguo rarely provoked him. At this moment, Shun Shin's words put him in a difficult position. He directly raised his palm, wanting to give Shun a slap. Others may worship Shun, but in King Kong's eyes, Shun was just an entertainer. He had played many roles as a minor celebrity. So what if he had a bigger card? But at this moment, he was suddenly hit in the face by the scalding hot milk tea. Ow, ow! King Kong screamed in pain. Lin Yuchizhen was holding the milk tea in her hand, and at the same time, she pulled Shun Shun behind her to protect her. Shun Shun was very surprised. This woman, was she not afraid? You're asking for it. King Kong recovered a little, and he slapped Lin Yuchizhen. But at this critical moment, Li Fan held a plate of fried noodles in his right hand, and his left hand grabbed King Kong's wrist. Then, he bit down and pressed down again. Bam! King Kong, this strong man, was pressed down on the table by Li Fan. His face was pressed into the plate of twice-cooked pork with rice. King Kong felt humiliated, but he struggled a little, and his body seemed to be locked, and he could not break free at all. Let go of me, King Kong roared angrily. A man actually dared to attack two weak women. Let's forget about this arm for now. As Li Fan said this, he directly pressed down hard on King Kong's arm. With a crack, King Kong's right arm was directly dislocated by Li Fan. He wailed, and then glared at Li Fan, his eyes flashing with anger. Not happy, Li Fan laughed. Do you want to bite me? Li Fan, you've offended young master. Your time has come. Oh, is that so? Zhang can kill me? Li Fan's expression was as usual. Tell your brainless young master to come at me if he has any problems. Don't pick on the weak. As he said this, Li Fan pushed King Kong to the ground. Students, this person is bullying Shun Shun. Take him to the security office. Li Fan shouted. Fuck, this is too much. I knew he's not a good person. Behave, let's go. A group of boys volunteered to hold King Kong down and take him to the security office. Your superstar title is quite useful. Li Fan turned around and smiled at Shun Shun. Li Fan, it was so scary just now. Lin Yuchizhen was the first to burrow into Li Fan's arms, leaning against his chest, shivering. It's okay. I'm here. Li Fan gently touched her head and comforted her. Shun Shun was dumbfounded. She saw Lin Yuchizhen secretly turn her head and winked at her. Shun Shun was about to explode. Chapter 989. Shun Shun returned to her dormitory. Her dormitory was specially approved by the school. It was an international student dormitory, like a small villa with only 2 rooms. One room was occupied by Shun Shun, and the other room was occupied by Lu Wanner. After Shun Shun came back, she fell on the sofa, seemingly sulking. What's wrong with you? Lu Wanner was sitting cross-legged in front of the mirror, playing melodious music and practicing yoga. Seeing Shun Shun rushing in, Lu Wanner could not help but ask, Look at you. Did you quarrel with the management company again? No. Shun Shun picked up a cute doll and beat it with all her might. Oh, you quarreled with Li Fan again? Not quarreled with him. Oh, my Miss Shun, then what's wrong with you? If you sulk alone, you'll grow old very quickly. Why don't you come and practice yoga with me? It can relax your body and mind and let you free your soul. As Lu Wanner spoke, she stretched her body. The lines of her body were very perfect, curvaceous, and sexy. Even Shun Shun was somewhat envious of her figure. No way, I prefer fitness. Yoga and fitness were basically in 2 different directions. Shun Shun preferred the pleasure of burning fat. Oh, I digress from the topic. I didn't quarrel with Li Fan today, although he is still so annoying. I met a woman, a terrible opponent. Oh, is it the girl from the English department yesterday? Lu Wanner spread her legs and sat on the yoga board, her upper body almost touching the ground. Look at your small figure. If I were a man, I would fuck you to death. Shun Shun was stimulated by Lu Wanner's provocative action and could not help but say, Why are you talking about me? Aren't we talking about that girl from the English department? Lu Wanner maintained this posture and then slightly shook her hips up and down. This is proper yoga. Your evil fire should be released. I think Li Fan is not bad. He looks thin, but he is actually quite strong. I touched him the other day. He is all muscles. He should be able to withstand your torment. Go to hell. Shun Shun glared at Lu Wanner. You are as hateful as that girl from the English department. Or did she piss you off? I feel like I can't compete with her. Shun Shun buried her face in the sofa, very depressed. So annoying, really annoying. Wow. Our big shot Shun can't even compete with a little girl. What are you saying? I'm also a young lady, okay? Shinshin immediately became unhappy. She raised her head and angrily looked at Lu Wan Air. Moreover, Li Fan doesn't buy it. What are you talking about? It's as if you're good at chasing boys. Lu Wanner was amused. You can? I'm all right. Lu Wanner had a smile on her face. Although I've never eaten pork, I've seen a pig run. I have a friend who is average looking, but she has a different boyfriend every week, and they are all handsome guys. Even now, there are still many men who risk their lives for her. I really admire them. So powerful. Shun Shan was in disbelief. Well, have I ever lied to you? Really, it's fine if you don't want to learn. Lu Wanner picked up the remote control at the side and turned up the volume of the music, seemingly ignoring Shin Shun. Shun Shun hurriedly walked to the speaker, turned down the volume, and looked at Lu Wanner seriously. All right, I agree. Let her come. You really want to learn? It was Lu Wanner's turn to be surprised. I thought you were joking. Of course not. Shin Shun was very persistent. Li Fan, this guy, he actually ignored this lady's charm and disliked me so much. I must chase him and then ruthlessly abandon him. I'll let him know what punishment is. But I think Li Fan is quite good. Lu Wanner could not help but say, his character is quite good. I think the one who keeps pestering him is you. Hey, whose roommate and best friend are you? Shin Shun was angry. Why are you always speaking for others? I think what I said is the truth, Lu Wanner smiled. All right, no matter what, it's a good thing that you can be so serious about a boy. I always thought that you would be like me, never meeting a boy who can move your heart. I emphasize again, I'm not moved by him. Shun Shin immediately declared, I just want to take revenge on him. Are you sure? Lu Wanner looked at Shun Chen's eyes. You don't like him at all? No, I don't. Shun Chun hesitated. She felt that if she directly said that she didn't like him, it seemed like she had fallen into the psychology that the little girl mentioned. It was really annoying. That little girl, how could she read people's minds? Her so-called psychology, was it really that accurate? Shun Shun was in a dilemma, but after thinking for a moment, she still said that she didn't like him. Since you don't like him, I think I can give it a try. Lu Wanner's words made Shun Chin nervous. What are you doing? You want to chase after Li Fan? Are you crazy? In any case, I'm going to study abroad in 2 years. I suddenly thought it through. Instead of being sad, it's better to take the opportunity to fight for it. Lu Wanner seemed to be very serious. It'll be good if I can live these 2 years vigorously. I think Li Fan is pretty good. He's a good date. Don't. Then how am I going to chase him? It won't delay you. You're going to dump him anyway. Lu Wanner didn't know if she was joking or serious. She winked at Lu Wanner. When you dump him, he'll definitely be very upset. At that time, I'll take advantage of the situation and easily take him down. After saying that, Lu Wanner licked her lips. Well, you little girl, you actually dare to tease me. Shin Shan was so angry that she laughed. She pounced on Lu Wanner and pressed her down on the yoga board. You little seductress, see if this old lady won't kill you. Stop messing around. I'll call my friend and ask her to come over and teach you. Lu Wanner couldn't break free. She practiced yoga. How could she compare to Shun Chun, who trained in bodybuilding? Although Shun Chun looked thin and weak, she actually had a lot of muscles. Her lower abdomen also had a beautiful waistline, which made Lu Wanner very envious. Humph humph. If you dare to tease me again, you're dead meat. Shin Shin was satisfied. She climbed down from Lu Wanner's body. Little Lu, hurry up and make the call. This lady can't wait to learn new knowledge. It's a new position, right? You're itching again. Okay. I won't tease you anymore. I'll make the call now. Lu Wanner looked at Shun Shin deeply, then took out her phone and called her friend. Early the next morning, Li Fan was woken up by Shun Shin's call. Why are you so early? Li Fan looked at the time in a daze. There was still an hour before the military training. Come down. Shin Chun was very gentle on the phone. I brought you breakfast. Chapter 990. You are actually bringing me breakfast? When Li Fan went downstairs, he saw Shun Chen already standing outside. She was dressed very simply today in a beige t-shirt with her own portrait printed on it. The t-shirt was relatively short, revealing a small part of her waist. Shun Chen's lower abdomen was very attractive, especially with a beautiful waistline. She was wearing a pair of super short denim hot pants, revealing a pair of fair legs. The area above a girl's thighs was the domain of God. It attracted men's attention more than any other place. When Li Fan saw the super short hot pants, he could not help but take a few more glances. Although Shun Chen's personality was not pleasing, there was nothing to be picky about her looks. She really attracted men's attention. Well, you have military training during the day. You cannot wake up and eat something in the morning. Shin Shun was especially gentle today. She picked up the fast food box in her hand and handed it to Li Fan. If you want, I can accompany you to eat. This time, Shun Shin did not seem to be forcing him. Li Fan thought about it and pointed to the lounge downstairs. Then eat here. Thank you for your hard work. She had worked so hard to deliver breakfast, and Li Fan was too embarrassed to chase her away. Moreover, every dormitory building in G University prohibited people of the opposite sex from entering. However, the school was more humane. They set up a lounge in the hall on the first floor of the school. Friends of the opposite sex who came to meet guests could rest and chat in the lounge. Li Fan led Shun Chun into the lounge and found a sofa to sit down. Shin Shun took the initiative to open the fast food box for Li Fan. She even broke apart the disposable chopsticks and carefully placed them in front of Li Fan. However, when Li Fan saw the breakfast, he felt a headache coming on. Wasn't this the canteen's spicy hot pot? Good Lord, she made me eat something so hot so early in the morning. Isn't this a prank? This is the canteen's spicy hot pot. Li Fan asked tactfully. No, this is the spicy hot pot from a small shop at the back door. It tastes good and I eat it often. Shun Shin even licked her lips lightly. But this thing is quite high in calories. Every time I eat it, I have to exercise for a long time. I think you're going to the military training, so you'll need to train as well. It's better to replenish your calories. What kind of theory is this? Li Fan gave Shun Chen a poor evaluation of his ability to survive. I'll get you some water. As Shun Chen spoke, he stood up, picked up the soy milk he bought, and poured a cup for Li Fan. Her t-shirt had a round neck, and the neckline was relatively large. It accidentally revealed the milky white world inside, and it dazzled Li Fan's eyes. Amid Ba, Li Fan felt that his inner demon had appeared again. Why didn't this Shun Chun know how to pay attention to this? He subconsciously moved his gaze away. Shun Chen saw this scene, and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. Humph, Li Fan, I don't believe I can't get you. Well, Shun Shun, why did your temperament suddenly change so much today? Great change in temperament? What do you mean? When Shun Shun heard this, she almost couldn't control herself and exposed her true nature. I just feel that there's something not quite right with you. As Li Fan said this, he stretched out his right hand and gently placed it on Shun Chen's forehead. Strange, it's not hot. Hey, but why is your face a little red? Stop messing around. Shun Chen originally wanted to slap Li Fan's hand away, but she remembered Lu Wan-er's friend's words and forcibly held back. Lu Wan-er's friend was indeed a master at chasing after men. She had repeatedly exhorted her. In order to pursue a man, one must also treat him well. If the other party liked wild girls, then act like a little wild cat. If the other party liked gentle girls, then act like a good wife and loving mother. If she wanted to capture Li Fan's heart, then she naturally had to act like a woman that Li Fan liked. And after being in contact with him for a while, Shin Shin felt that Li Fan was more comfortable with gentle girls. If she wanted to defeat the little witch, Lin Yuechisin, she had to win Li Fan's heart. Shun Shun, didn't you learn acting for a while? You can definitely do it. Shun Shin squeezed out a gentle smile and said to Li Fan, You eat. You don't have to chat with me. I'll just watch you. Li Fan looked at Shun Shin strangely. Although he had no appetite, he was still prepared to eat the malatang because of Shun Shin's good intention. But before eating, Li Fan used his chopsticks to rummage through it, as if looking for something. Dear, what are you doing? I'm looking to see if there's anything that shouldn't be there. Li Fan told the truth. I'm afraid that you're playing tricks on me. Shunshin almost exploded with anger. This old lady worked so hard and even woke up early to buy breakfast for you. And you actually said that I'm playing tricks on you. Hit you, bastard. After Shun finished roaring in her heart, she said gently to Li Fan, "How is that possible? Am I that kind of person? I just want to have breakfast with you." Okay, you're a little weird. Li Fan thought of Tian. He looked at Shun and could not help but ask, Shun, do you know about a second personality? What second personality? Shun was stunned. Well, to put it bluntly, it's schizophrenia. Li Fan's words made Shun Chen's anger rise. I think you're not mentally normal recently. Do you want to see a psychiatrist? Endure. Shun said to herself. A little impatience will spoil the great plan. Although she was not interested in Li Fan, the competitive Shun decided to endure this and conquer him first. I don't need to see a doctor. I just feel that my attitude toward you was not very good a while ago, so I reflected on it. Shun played her acting skills, and her eyes slowly turned red. You might not know this, being a celebrity is actually very lonely. I have a very strong xenophobic mentality. I've seen a psychiatrist. Although I'm not schizophrenic, the doctor said I'm very autistic. In front of my fans, I have to force a smile. But in private, I'm afraid of coming into contact with others. The reason why I scolded you on the plane was because I really don't like having outsiders around. When other people are around, I feel very insecure. Really? Li Fan looked at Shun and found that there were tears in her eyes. She seemed to be really wronged and upset. You might not believe me when I say this. My only true friend is Lu Warner. I look forward to having friends, but I'm also afraid of interacting with others. But Li Fan, you're very special. Your appearance disrupted my life and made my heart beat faster. So, I quite like you, really. She looked at Li Fan seriously. Although, I may be a little annoying to you, but I hope that you can give me a chance to get close to you and pursue you, okay? Chapter 991. Li Fan looked at Shun Chen's sincere eyes. Listening to her moving voice, his heart softened a little. Maybe this girl was just like what she said, full of thorns but wrapped inside with a soft heart. But this spicy soup was really spicy. From time to time, people passed by and were surprised to see them. So, Shun really fell in love with him. It's incredible. How am I worse than him? This was not the first time Li Fan had heard this kind of words. He turned a deaf ear and reluctantly finished the breakfast. Shun was wiping her eyes. Fortunately, I didn't put on smoky makeup. Shun said, otherwise, the makeup would be ruined. You're already beautiful. Why do you still need makeup? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. How can that be the same? Shun did not refute that she was beautiful. Even a beautiful girl must wear makeup when going out. This is a woman's etiquette. A woman without makeup is equivalent to going out naked. What kind of logic is this? A woman's logic. Shun was about to say a few more words, but suddenly remembered Lu Wan's friend's reminder and quickly became gentle again. Of course, if you like me without makeup, the next time we meet, you don't have to wear makeup. It's okay. You're fine. Li Fan quickly waved his hand, indicating that Shun could do as she pleased. Also, our current relationship. If you don't like it, we could develop it step by step. Shun reached out to Li Fan. Classmate Li Fan, can we be friends? Li Fan was a little surprised. This girl actually had an epiphany? It's amazing. Did the sun rise from the west? Yes, of course. Li Fan couldn't wait to be friends. If they could maintain an ordinary friendship, that would be even better. But even if I explain to the media that you're just an ordinary friend, it's too late. Shun said so. If I don't explain to the media, can I? Well, wait for the right opportunity. Li Fan thought for a moment. This kind of thing could only be resolved slowly by chance. It was very difficult to be a star. Shun also had her own sadness, so Li Fan didn't want to embarrass her. Thank you for breakfast. Li Fan was about to clean up the lunch boxes when Shun hurriedly pulled him back. How could a boy do these things? Leave it to me. You could go to military training. That's not very good, is it? It doesn't matter. Go do what you need to do. Leave this to me. Under Shun Chen's repeated urging, Li Fan could only leave first. Had Shun Chen's temperament really changed today? Not long after Li Fan went out, Shun Chen sat in the booth and sighed. There are so many things. How are we going to clean them up? Leave it to me. Let me do it. A group of boys rushed over and rushed to help Shun Chen clean up. Thank you. You're the best. Shen Shun smiled sweetly at them, and these boys immediately felt that their hearts were about to melt. They were so happy that Shun Chen actually smiled at them. They felt that their lives were worth it. Shun Chen walked out, and several boys scrambled behind her to hold an umbrella for her. Some were busy fanning themselves, for fear that Shun Chen would feel hot. Shin Chen looked at Li Fan's back as he walked away. She crossed her arms with a smug smile on her face. Young man, I don't believe that you won't succumb to my skirt. In the next few days of military training, although the training intensity was still very high, Li Fan was still able to endure it. The few people in the dormitory couldn't do it. They were busy training during the day, and they were busy fighting for food in the cafeteria. At night, they were basically exhausted. They lay in bed and didn't get up, sleeping until the next day. Not knowing this, when they got up in the morning, the quilt in the dormitory had to be folded into tofu cubes, and the instructor would take time to check on them. Li Fan could still adapt to all this. The training intensity was too low for him. Every day, apart from military training, he would take the initiative to get up an hour earlier and run a few laps on the school field. His hands and feet were also tied with lead sandbags, which were used to train his physique. As a martial artist, it was definitely not enough to just train inner strength. The physique also had to be constantly trained in order to maintain the most perfect state. Why are you here too? When Li Fan came to the field early in the morning, he saw Shun Shun wearing a pink sportswear, standing beside Li Fan. Even though she was wearing sportswear, this girl's figure was still very well accentuated. The sports pants wrapped around her perky buttocks, and Li Fan almost couldn't take his eyes off her. Li Fan even suspected that he was obsessed with buttocks. I have to stay rational, Li Fan silently said. I also want to exercise with you. Shin Shin did a few warm-up exercises, and Li Fan withdrew his gaze. Okay, it's good to exercise, but I have to run for an hour. Can you keep up? You're looking down on me. I train regularly, okay? Shun Shan said as she slightly pulled up her sports top, revealing her beautiful lower abdomen. See, this is a waistline. Do you have it? Li Fan said, this girl is too bold. Okay, then let's make a bet. Li Fan thought of Instructor Bai's request, but because he was too embarrassed to ask, he did not complete the task. What do you want to bet on? If you win, I promise you one thing. Li Fan said, but if I win, you have to give me an autograph. You want my autograph? Shin Shin suddenly became happy. Then just say it. I will give it to you. It's not me. Why would I want that thing? Li Fan waved his hand. It's for someone else. Shin Shin seemed to be a little unhappy again, but she suppressed her unhappiness and adjusted her state of mind. Okay, since you like to bet, I'll play with you. How about winning or losing? 1 hour. If you can keep up with my pace, you win. What do you think? Then you'll lose for sure. An hour of long-distance running was really nothing to Shin Shun. Usually, she would wake up 2 hours early for her run. Running for more than 40 minutes could burn fat. After running for 2 hours, the soreness in her body would be discharged, and she would be drenched in sweat. It was very comfortable. To Shun Shun, this was just a piece of cake. I'll definitely work hard. Shin Shun originally wanted to show off, but she thought about what the male suitor said, that she must give a man face outside. So, she changed her words. You have to give in to me. Okay. Li Fan nodded, then lifted his feet and began his daily routine with a hidden weight of 40 kilograms. Chapter 992. With 40 kilograms of weight on Li Fan's body, if he used his true chi, it would not be a problem for him at all. However, Li Fan did not use his true chi. Instead, he relied on his own physique to run with the weight. He did not run too fast at first, fearing that Shun Shun would not be able to keep up with him. However, Shun Shun seemed to be very relaxed. She prioritized following Li Fan. While running, she also punched and kept her whole body moving. Li Fan looked back and saw Shun Chen's leisurely face. He could not help but praise her. This girl is quite amazing. He continued to run and began to increase his speed a little. He buckled the headphones on his ears and listened to the music while exercising. The effect was the best. People were born to pursue a sense of rhythm. This saying was really true. He was comfortable, but Shun Shun, who was following behind him, was suffering. At first, she was very relaxed. However, she suddenly found that Li Fan was running faster and faster. It was as if he did not know the concept of fatigue at all. After chasing Li Fan for 2 laps, Shun Shun began to pant. This damn guy, is he trying to fly? How can he run so fast? Shun Shun was getting more and more strenuous. She felt that her steps were getting heavier and heavier. When she ran for 2 hours, she did not use such a fast speed. You slow down. Shun Shun finally could not help but shout. However, Li Fan was wearing headphones and did not hear her shout at all. At this time, Li Fan was surrounded by the music. His whole body was like a running machine. The motor on his body was running, and every machine part was running, driving his rhythm as he ran on the playground. When Shun Shun was barely able to keep up with Li Fan, she also found something that shocked her. After running so far, Li Fan's forehead was not sweating at all. My God, is he a monster? Shun Shun was already sweating profusely. She was puzzled. If a normal person had a metabolism, they would definitely be sweating after such an intense run. Why is Li Fan not sweating at all? Is he a robot? Shun Shun was very unconvinced. She adjusted her breathing so that the power of her heart and lungs reached the maximum and continued to chase after Li Fan. However, after running for a while, Li Fan had already entered a state of complete selflessness. He even forgot about Shun Shun, who was behind him. After running for a while, he suddenly rushed out of the track and jumped forward. He jumped up along the front of the auditorium step by step. Li Fan did not use Qigong. He only used the strength of his muscles to jump. Soon, he jumped onto the spectator seats and ran 2 steps forward. He stepped on the air conditioner of the building in front of him and jumped onto the platform on the 2nd floor. He leaped forward, somersaulted in the air, and landed on a basketball rack opposite him. He stepped on the basketball rack and jumped to the windowsill on the 2nd floor of the cafeteria. Li Fan grabbed the railing above the windowsill and jumped onto the rooftop of the cafeteria's 3rd floor. In Shun Chen's stunned eyes, Li Fan ran along the rooftop of the 3rd floor to the edge, then jumped and landed on the roof of the opposite stadium and continued to run. Bastard, is this parkour? Shun Chun gritted her teeth. What should she do? Although she also wanted to play parkour for a while, she felt that it was too dangerous and gave up. Who would have thought that Li Fan would be able to play it so smoothly? Shun Chun was a little envious and jealous. At this time, she understood what Li Fan meant when he said that she could not keep up with him. Li Fan was not running around the sports field at all. Instead, he was running around the row of low buildings around the sports field. Other than taking a look, there was nothing else he could do. He must be deliberately showing off to me. This annoying guy. Shun Chin stomped her foot in anger. At this time, Luan Air happened to pass by after buying breakfast. Seeing Shun Shun standing on the track, she could not help but come over. Why are you here? Didn't you accompany Li Fan to run? He ran by himself. Shun Shun said angrily. I can't catch up with him. No way. Don't you often work out? Can't you catch up with him? Luan Air felt a bit strange. Shun Chin stretched out her hand and pointed to the opposite building. Luan Air glanced at it and was a little surprised. Then she laughed. I say, you really can't catch up with him. Student Lee is really amazing. He can even play parkour. Humph, what's so great about it? If I'm a little more courageous, I can also do it. If Shun Shun knew that Li Fan was still carrying 40 kilograms of weight on his body, she probably wouldn't say that. Li Fan just finished running a lap and stepped on the handrail next to him. When he was 2 meters away from the ground, he somersaulted and landed steadily on the ground. When he saw the gloomy Shun Shun and the smiling Lu Xiaowan standing on the track, he suddenly realized something. Aya! Li Fan took off his headphones and said, "Sorry, Senior Shun. I forgot about you." Shun didn't know what to say. She is a famous celebrity. Shun. There was actually a man here who had completely forgotten about her. What the hell? Shun was furious, but she couldn't show it. She had to force a smile in front of Li Fan. "It's my fault. I can't catch up with you. I'm really sorry." Lu Wanwan really wanted to laugh. It seemed like her best friend was really suffering losses in front of Li Fan. Why is she gloating? This is not good. This time doesn't count. Let's compete again. No. A win is a win. I will give you my autograph. Shun was a bit depressed. "I will go back to get my new album and sign it for you. I want to accompany you for breakfast. Goodbye." She left dejectedly. Lu Wan Air picked up the breakfast in her hand and gestured to Li Fan. "Junior brother, do you want to eat together? Hey, is it enough for 2 people? Well, I bought some for a senior, but he is not at school. It's just enough for the 2 of us." Lu Wan Air casually said, "Let's sit in the audience and eat. It's quite enjoyable." Okay. Li Fan nodded and followed Lu Xiaowan to sit in the spectator seats at the side. Breakfast is simple steamed buns and milk. Southerners have a small appetite. There are not many steamed buns, only 4 in total. Li Fan was embarrassed to eat more, so he only took 2. "Eat one more." Luan took one for herself and gave the 3rd to Li Fan. "You Northerners have a bigger appetite. I'm afraid 2 steamed buns are not enough." No, my appetite is very small," Li Fan hurriedly said. On the first day we met, what did you say? Have you forgotten? Lu Wan Air's memory is good. You want to lie to your senior sister? You've learned bad things. Chapter 993. Li Fan was a little embarrassed. His senior sister's memory was too good to remember this kind of thing clearly. "Let's eat. I don't have much of an appetite." Lu Wanner looked into the distance. Her eyes seemed a little deep. "What's wrong, senior sister? Is there something on your mind?" "No, I'm just thinking about the past." Lu Wanner retracted her gaze and looked at Li Fan again. "Li Fan, I want to ask you something. You have to answer me honestly. Don't play tricks again." "Okay, I promise." Li Fan nodded. "Senior sister, ask away. Do you like Shin? Lu Wan-er's question was really hard for Li Fan to answer. "I don't really like her. I just think we can be friends." Li Fan still said it in a euphemistic way. "Do you hate her?" "It's not that I hate her. I just think the 2 of us don't get along." Li Fan told the truth. "I met her on the plane at that time. It wasn't very friendly, right?" Lu Wan-er said, "I heard her mention it. You and she were both in first class. She offended you badly." "Haha, it's not really offended." Li Fan waved his hand. "Although her words are quite unpleasant, I found out a few days ago that she has a very strong autism. That's why she's like this." Autistic. Lu Wanner rolled her eyes at her heart. This girl can actually make up such a reason. That's really enough. Although this girl can't be said to be sociable, she's not autistic. No matter what you think of her, I just want to tell you, this time she's serious. Lu Wanner said what she thought in her heart. Facing such a serious person, I think you should also treat her with a serious attitude. If you like her, then accept her. If you don't like her, then completely break off the relationship with her. Don't give her unnecessary hope. I don't have the final say. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. "I don't know how I attracted senior sister Shun." "All right, let's not talk about this for now." Lu Wanner asked again. "The club recruitment is starting soon. Do you have any club that you want to join? Society? Yeah, I think you're pretty good at parkour, but it's a pity that the school doesn't have a parkour club." "I don't have any thoughts." Club life was indeed a part of university life, but Li Fan didn't have any good ideas for now. "If you really don't want to go, you can set up your own." Lu Wanner winked at Li Fan. "The school supports students to create their own clubs, but the requirement is that the number of members must be at least 5 within a month." Lu Wanner was very familiar with these things. If you can have more than 30 people, the school can even give you a classroom. "Sounds good. I'll take a look then." Li Fan listened to him. It seemed like a good idea to create a club by himself. It felt like a business. In a city, he ran an escort agency. Then in G University, he could first try to run a club to practice his skills, and then build a dojo. Suddenly, the loud sound of a bugle sounded on the field. The military training has started. I won't disturb you anymore. Ah, all right, I have something. Li Fan suddenly remembered something. Isn't Shun Chen's voice broken? How did she release a new album? Idiot. Lu Wana laughed. It's actually just a collection of some classic old songs, and then a new album. This is just a temporary measure. I don't know what to do in the future. Yeah, I hope she gets better soon. Li Fan waved goodbye to Lu Wana. Then, Senior, I'll go first. Bye-bye. Looking at Li Fan's figure running away, Lu Wana sat on the stands and sighed softly. Boys, Li Fan began his military training again. It was unusually quiet today because Shun Chen didn't come. Today, Instructor Bai led them to practice walking. For Instructor Bai, among these students, the one he liked the most and admired the most was Li Fan. No matter how this kid trained, he was completely fine. Even Instructor Bai couldn't see the depth of this kid. Just after everyone was directed by the instructor to run 2 laps, Li Fan was still standing there as if nothing had happened. His military posture was extremely standard, and he didn't look tired at all. Instructor Bai couldn't help but want to bring this kid into the army and let the squad leader train him well. Let's see if he can still persist like this. The level of training in the school was really far worse than in the army. Okay, let's take a break. Looking at the other students staggering, Instructor Bai couldn't help but shake his head. He was really lacking in training. Instructor Bai muttered in his heart. Now that the country had decided to recruit more cultured soldiers, they would start recruiting from the university. But with the physique of these students, could they really bear it when they enter the army? Instructor Bai couldn't help but deeply doubt. Just when these students were resting, Li Fan saw a group of students coming over aggressively. The leader was none other than King Kong. They don't come with good intentions. Li Fan frowned, but with so many people on the field, they probably wouldn't dare to do anything. But then Li Fan didn't think so, because King Kong was holding a metal baseball bat in his right hand. He raised the baseball bat and pointed it at Li Fan opposite him. It's this kid. Beat him to death. King Kong was leading a whole group of students from the sports department. These students were all holding baseball bats, and they rushed towards Li Fan like wolves and tigers. What are you doing? Stop! Instructor Bai shouted, but no one listened to him. The group of people had already rushed in front of Li Fan. The girls screamed and dodged, and Wang Yang and the rest were also frightened. Their faces were pale, and they didn't know what to do for a moment. Stand back. Leave this to me. Li Fan's brows were still furrowed. These people were too bold. In public, there were students and instructors everywhere, and they dared to openly fight. It seemed like it was just like what Xiang Yu said. These people were indeed fearless. Li Fan, don't be rash. It was not convenient for Instructor Bai to make a move, but he whistled, ready to get the instructors to come over and stop this overly excited student. Instructor Bai, this is a problem between us students. Li Fan took 2 steps forward. Leave it to us students to handle. Are you stupid? There are so many people here, and all of them are armed. Do you think you're the god of war? Instructor Bai wanted to stop Li Fan, but Li Fan had already walked out and stood in front of the sports department students. Chapter 994. Li Fan, aren't you very arrogant? King Kong pointed the baseball bat at Li Fan in front of him and proudly sneered. Today it's your turn to kneel down and apologize. Can you say something first? Li Fan rolled up his sleeves and said to King Kong, What? Do you want to beg for mercy? That won't do. Young Master said that if we don't break one of your legs today, we can't go back. Shin Chun is right. Li Fan smiled. You are indeed a group of dogs. Courting death. King Kong was furious, but Li Fan was not in a hurry. Don't worry, I haven't finished my sentence. Li Fan rolled up his sleeves and then stretched his waist. I hit you quite hard. I won't be responsible if you get hurt. With that, Li Fan shouted to the side. Xiang, help me record it to prove that they started it first. Okay. Although Xiang was timid, this time his courage was a bit bigger. He took out his mobile phone and began to record. Fuck you, turn off the video. A sports student carried a baseball bat and rushed in that direction. Instructor Bai suddenly stretched out his foot and tripped this guy to the ground. Touching my student, I can't just watch and do nothing. Don't worry about him. If something happens, young Master Zhang is here. King Kong shouted. Everyone's eyes once again fell on Li Fan. Kill him. A group of students, like wolves and tigers, rushed toward Li Fan. Li Fan did not use his true chi. He moved his fists and feet and looked at these people who rushed toward him without the slightest panic. His body sank down. Then he spread his hands and stretched them in front of him. Ape strike technique. A sports student rushed to the front of Li Fan and hit Li Fan's head with the baseball bat in his hand. Li Fan's body gently leaned to the side, then raised his palm and slapped the sports student's chin, directly sending him flying. Another sports student waved a baseball bat and smashed it at Li Fan's waist. Li Fan lowered his body and dodged the baseball bat. At the same time, with both hands on the ground, he used the agile monkey jumps on a tree and kicked up with both legs. The man was sent flying by the kick and crashed into the students behind him, crushing them to the ground. More students had already rushed in front of Li Fan, but Li Fan did not panic. Every time he suddenly threw a punch or a palm, he would directly knock the sports students around him to the ground. In the end, he directly entered the state of the bear strike. With a roar, he grabbed a sturdy boy, lifted his legs, and used him as a weapon. He swung him around, causing the surrounding students to wail like ghosts and howl like wolves. How long is a baseball bat? How long is a person? As the saying goes, an inch longer, an inch stronger. If Li Fan used a person as a weapon, how could they defeat him? This fellow had a monstrous strength. King Kong was shivering. By the time he came to his senses, over 20 sports students that he had brought with him were already lying on the ground. That's impossible. The students he brought were all athletic students with strong bodies, not ordinary kids. The opponent was just one person, but the 20-plus students were all knocked down. Still not scramming, Li Fan looked at Jean Gang. I have already shown mercy. This matter is not over yet, Jean Gang berated. It's not over yet. Let your master come and find me himself. Li Fan's eyes carried a trace of ridicule. What's the use of just calling a dog over? If you want to find trouble with me, let him come personally. Don't be too arrogant. Someone can deal with you. Jean Gang threw down a ruthless sentence and led his group of students to flee in a sorry state. The students looked at Li Fan in shock. One person against 20 sports students. This Li Fan is quite powerful. Not bad, kid. Instructor by slapped Li Fan's back. I couldn't tell that you have practiced before. I learned some self-defense skills when I was young. I didn't expect it to come in handy. Li Fan casually made up a lie. It's probably because they are too weak. How could a group of sports students be weak? Instructor by knew that Li Fan didn't want to say something, so he didn't ask further. All right, the fight is over. Return to the team and continue with the military training. I will report to the school later. Your school is too messy. It was a little unbelievable that a group of people could be casually organized to fight. Is this still a place for education? It has become a hooligan's nest. Thank you, instructor. Li Fan didn't say much. Instructor by definitely wouldn't be able to handle this matter. That Zhonghua is too fast. I don't know what kind of trouble he will cause. As Li Fan expected, in the afternoon, someone came to the field to look for Li Fan. Who is Li Fan? A boy with a student's union badge asked at the top of his voice. Everyone looked at Li Fan. Li Fan walked out. I am. What's the matter? Let's go for a walk. The student council boy looked at Li Fan. Your tutor is looking for you. Got it. Li Fan turned his head and asked for leave from Instructor Bai. Instructor Bai, I will leave for a while. All right, go ahead. Instructor Bai gave Li Fan a reassuring look. Look for me if there is anything. I will testify for you. Thank you, Instructor Bai. We are also willing to testify for you. As a class monitor, Wang Ying took the lead and said, that group of sophomores is too much. They came to bully us. Yes, we will testify for you. Wang Yang and the others also shouted, don't worry and go. The wind is bleak and the water is cold. Hero, Zhao Yingjun just sang a sentence and was slapped by Wang Ying. What are you singing? I was just thinking to give second brother a boost. But you shouldn't sing this. How sad. Then what should we sing? Let's sing a hero song. Wang Ing organized. Come 1, 2, 3. Sing after me. The river flows east. The stars in the sky join the Big Dipper. A group of students sang together. The voices were so synchronized that Li Fan broke out in a cold sweat. How could they sing like this? It's like I'm going to the battlefield. What the hell? The student council students were also shocked and didn't understand the situation for a long time. Nothing, let's go. Then let's hurry. This student probably didn't expect that the freshman Li Fan would be so popular among the students. To be honest, this student was also unhappy with Li Fan. After all, Li Fan was Shun Chen's rumored boyfriend. But who exactly was he? He always felt that he was not ordinary. But in terms of appearance, he was very ordinary. He didn't have the legendary aura of a king. Senior? Seeing that the other party was lost in thought, Li Fan couldn't help but remind him. Nothing, let's go. Chapter 995. Li Fan, what I said, did you turn a deaf ear to it? As soon as he entered the counselor's office, Li Fan was scolded to his face. You're amazing, aren't you? You dare to openly gather people to fight on the sports field? I want to inform your parents, and the school will take this matter seriously. Maybe you will be suspended from school. Oh, I'm sorry, counselor. My parents are currently in Malaysia. It's a bit difficult for you to contact them. Li Fan dug his ear and said, Moreover, you better lower your voice. You're disturbing me. Li Fan, what kind of attitude is this? You're too presumptuous. Hee, I don't understand. Li Fan blew the dust off his fingers and smiled. Am I the one who's presumptuous? No, it should be you. What did you say? First of all, you scolded me without distinguishing between right and wrong. This is an insult and disrespect to me. Moreover, you said that I gathered people to fight. To put it lightly, this is slander. To put it more seriously, you slandered me. I can sue you. Do you understand? Are you kidding me? You still want to sue me? I think you're out of control. Bang! Li Fan's palm suddenly fell on the desk, leaving a 2-centimeter deep palm print. The counselor was dumbfounded. He swallowed his saliva and swallowed his words. Counselor, are you done talking? Li Fan coldly looked at the counselor, making the other's heart tremble. If you're done talking, then it's my turn to speak, right? Li Fan pointed outside the window. There are dozens of people on the sports field outside, including the instructor. They all saw it clearly. I was not the one who made the first move. It was those second-year students who made the first move. Am I 1 year younger than them? So I should let them hit me with a baseball bat? You calm down. Why should I calm down? A group of students wanted to beat me, and my counselor even shifted the blame to me. Why should I calm down? I must get an explanation today. As Li Fan spoke, he sat on the chair next to him. If you don't give me an explanation today, I won't leave. I've already asked someone to record the scene of those students hitting me. No one could deny this matter, even if they wanted to. I want to see if there's still any law in this huge G university. With that, Li Fan took out his phone and called Ling Tian. Ling Tian, find a few friends from your news department. Find a few verified accounts on Weibo. I want to upload a video. The tutor became more and more nervous. He didn't know if Li Fan was telling the truth when he said he was looking for a big V, but it didn't seem like he was lying. Could it be that this kid could really find a big V on Weibo? Was he that powerful? The counselor was also deceived, but on second thought, he remembered something else. Since Li Fan had caused a bloodbath at his original school, why hadn't he been expelled? That private number 2 high school seems to have a high enrollment rate. It seems to be a key city high school. Generally speaking, students like this would definitely be expelled. Oh my God, could it be that this Li Fan had some background? Although it might not work in G City, if he found a few verified accounts on Weibo to cause a scene, coupled with that video, the school's reputation would really be ruined. Every university cared a lot about their reputation, especially for a school with a long history like G University. If news of senior students ganging up on junior students, then the admission rate for next year would probably drop. There was competition between universities too, and G University had a few strong competitors. The counselor felt the pressure. He looked at Li Fan with a gentler gaze. If you have any grievances, you can tell me. Counselor, I was bullied by a few senior students. I want the school to give me an explanation, or else this won't end. Li Fan took the opportunity to exert his strength. If he didn't teach them a lesson, they would never stop. This counselor was really something. Did he think he was a pushover that could be easily bullied? Li Fan's temper was indeed much better now, but it didn't mean that he could let anyone bully him. I'm already aware of what you said. The school will help you solve this problem. Thank you, counselor. Li Fan had gotten what he wanted. In the future, the counselor probably wouldn't dare to argue with him. But Zhang Guo was indeed a problem. This kid was too cunning. He kept hiding behind and constantly sent people to harass him. He couldn't let him mess up his university life like this. What should I think of to calm him down a little? He wouldn't go to the extent of killing him, but he could at least break one of his legs. When Li Fan left the office, the corner of his mouth curled up. On the other side, Zhang Guo was sitting in a room of a high-class clubhouse, talking to a man. The man was about 40 years old and wore a black kimono. His black hair was tied into a small braid at the back, and his eyes were as small as rice grains. He had a small beard and a calm expression. There were 7 or 8 women sitting next to him, all naked. They were gathered together. Young Master Zhang, thank you for your hospitality. The Japanese man expressed his gratitude to Zhang Guo. You're welcome. This is what I should do. Zhang Guo was very polite to the Japanese man. Master Takeda, it just so happens that you're here recently. I have something to ask of you. What is it? Just say it. This man was called Takeda Shimbunzakura, a samurai of the Takeda family. This time, he came to China to do something. I met a nasty guy here. Some of my companions were beaten by him. You also know that I don't have the strength to truss a chicken. I definitely can't deal with this kind of person. So I hope Master can come out and help me teach him a lesson. A small matter. Takeda Shimbunzakura nodded. I came to China this time to find a master called Little Overlord to compete with. I want to tell the whole world that our Yamato nation is stronger in martial arts. After I help you deal with the things here, I'll leave for a city. Yes. Our fists are just flowery, but impractical. How can they be compared to your killing fist? Zhang Guo ordered the beauty next to him to pour wine for Takeda Shimbunzakura. Master Takeda, I'll have to trouble you this time. Well said. You are a good friend of our Yamato nation. I wish our friendship will last forever. Yes, friendship will last forever. Zhang Guo's mother had a lot of business dealings with the Takeda family. He himself also intended to curry favor with these reckless samurai. Zhang Guo was not stupid. He only needed to show a little bit of weakness and flatter them, and these stupid warriors would charge and break through the enemy lines for him. What's the name of the person who provoked young Master Zhang? He's called... Before Zhang Guo could finish, the door was suddenly knocked open. One of the bodyguards smashed onto their table, causing the beauties around them to scream in shock. Chapter 996. Looking at the bodyguard who fell heavily on the table, Zhang Guo was shocked. He couldn't care less about the spilled wine and looked up at the person who had barged in. This bodyguard was a world-class player he hired at high price. Who killed him? Who is it? Takeda Shimbunzakura also stood up, worthy of being an expert. He kept calm and looked at the man who appeared at the door. A man with a tiger mask stood there, wiping the blood on his hands with the curtain on the door. Looking at the bodyguard, his chest was badly mutilated with a deep claw mark. Tiger fist. Takeda Shimbunzakura checked the injury. Good skill. It seems that the Shina people also have some skill. You called out these 2 words. Don't think about leaving here alive. Li Fan's eyes were cold, and his fingers made a clicking sound. Oh, obviously very weak, but you don't know it. Takeda Shimbunzakura disdainfully smiled. Young Master Zhang, don't worry. I will protect you. Yes, then I am relieved. Thinking of Takeda Shimbunzakura, this monster-like expert, Zhang Guo was relieved. According to your words, I am an existence that has reached the peak of perfection. Takeda Shimbunzakura's eyes were arrogant. To deal with a Shina martial artist like you, 1 finger is enough. Reaching the peak, Li Fan was not in a hurry to make a move. He looked at the naked girls hiding in a room, thinking that some rich people are really extravagant. He held out his hand to the women and pointed to the door outside. I give you 2 minutes, get out of here. The women trembled and did not dare to move. Li Fan sighed, big breasts and no brains. A quartz clock hung on the wall. The second hand moved, and Takeda Shimazakura also made a move. He took a step forward, suddenly appeared in front of Li Fan, and then punched toward Li Fan's forehead. Rocket fist. Takeda Shimazakura's fist punched out, carrying with it an absolutely terrible energy. At this moment, Li Fan seemed to see a rocket soaring into the sky, the burning flames blasting out a huge amount of energy. Almost subconsciously, Li Fan's body gently sidestepped, avoiding Takeda Shimazakura's punch. The fist drew a ripple in the air before hitting the wall beside Li Fan. Boom! A huge pit appeared on the wall, and then cracks spread out like a spider web, quickly shattering the entire wall. This fist technique, which was filled with the aura of modern military martial arts, was actually filled with such explosive power. The other party was a member of the Takeda family. Sure enough, he could not underestimate them. Shinowufu, how long can you hide? Takeda Shimazakura sneered. He turned around and waved his hand for more than 10 punches. Cover fire. More than a dozen fist shadows almost covered Li Fan's body. Li Fan's hands were placed in front of his body to protect himself, forcibly withstanding this chaotic fist attack. Bang, bang, bang. Li Fan's body was constantly beaten back, and finally hit the wall behind him, his body embedded inside. Missile kick. After Takeda Shimazakura finished a set of chaotic punches, he directly turned around and kicked with a missile-like force, hitting Li Fan's body. Bang! The wall behind Li Fan directly broke. The room also shook a bit. The dust on top of his head continued to fall, startling the girls and made them scream again and again. Li Fan's body was covered in dust as he smashed through 2 walls and landed in a distant room. Shinowufu, not worth mentioning. Takeda Shimazakura coldly withdrew his right leg. Wonderful. Zhongwa constantly clapped his hands. Mr. Takeda, your killing fist is getting more and more powerful. Your kung fu is already unparalleled in the world. No, in Japan, there are a lot of people who are more powerful than me. Takeda Shimazakura indifferently said, You Shinowufu are too weak. Go find someone to collect the body. That kid's internal organs should have been blown up by me. Why do you say it so early, friend? Just as Takeda Shimazakura's voice fell, a voice came from the distance. A figure slowly came out from the hole in the wall, constantly patting the clothes on his body. The dust on it fell. You're not dead? Takeda Shimazakura's pupils contracted. Have you ever heard that scratching an itch can kill someone? Li Fan moved his muscles and bones. Damn Shinowufu. I'm going to blow your head. Takeda Shimazakura was furious. He jumped forward, and his fist came down from the sky. Level 3 rocket fist. The power of his fist was even greater, causing the air to distort, crossing the air at high speed. It left a trail in the air, much like the line of a smoke plane. Because he wanted to hide his identity, Li Fan did not follow Takeda Shimazakura's fist. He suddenly jumped up, taking advantage of Takeda Shimazakura's fist had not yet fallen, and grabbed his head. Hungry tiger out of the cage. Li Fan easily took off Takeda Shimazakura's head and fell to the ground. A headless body fell from the air, with blood, fell to the ground, staining the ground with a red flower. Zhongguo was scared silly. This Takeda Shimazakura, how did he suddenly lose? Wasn't it good just now? What happened? It's your turn. Li Fan walked toward Zhongguo. Zhongguo hurriedly begged. Hero, please have mercy. We have no grievances. Zhongguo screamed. Li Fan had already torn off his thigh with one claw and threw it to the side. I'll break your leg. Be honest in the future. Otherwise, next time I'll take your dog life. Li Fan finished, kicked the ceiling above his head, and then floated away. Zhongguo's leg was broken, lying on the ground wailing. A day later, Zhongguo was lying in the best hospital, but his leg could not be reattached. His family could only pay for him to be fitted with the most advanced prosthesis. But Zhongguo was like a dead man, lying in a luxurious ward, his face sallow, without any attachment to life. He was a rich young master, with eyes and ears all over the world. But in the blink of an eye, he became a cripple. What joy was there in living? That Luan air, could she still like him like this? At this time, the doctor pushed open the ward door, holding a bottle of medicine in his hand. It's time to take the medicine. Don't worry about me. Let me die. Zhang was said without any anger. Really? The doctor came close, leaned down, and looked at Zhanghua. A pair of eyes seemed to have a mysterious power, attracting Zhanghua. Don't you want revenge? Revenge. Zhanghua felt a stone fell from the stagnant water in his heart. The water rippled a bit. He then smiled bitterly. Who will I seek revenge from? Li Fan. Chapter 997. Li Fan? What does this have to do with him? This name, Zhang would definitely remembered. Recently, he had been annoyed because of this person. He was a dignified second-generation, rich second-generation. How could he have such a headache? Because of a stinky loser. This was really unbelievable. The killer with the tiger mask was sent by him to kill you. What? Zhang Guo was shocked. How did Li Fan know such a terrible guy? And who was this doctor in front of him? Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am. For the time being, I'm your ally. The man seemed to be smiling. I'm here to help you. How are you going to help me? I can help you kill that Li Fan, but you have to listen to me. The man pondered for a moment. Moreover, I can help you cure your leg. Are you telling the truth? Zhang Guo was a little surprised. We have the most advanced mechanical bionic technology here. The man continued, not to mention a leg, even if it's a person, we can do it. Why do you want to help me? Zhang Guo didn't lose his IQ as he asked. We have the same enemy. The man's eyes flashed a touch of fierceness. Alone, you or me, there's no way to defeat him. So, we need to cooperate. How do I know you're not using me? I'm using you. The man sneered. We're just using each other. Why do you need to set up a chastity memorial arch? If you're not willing, then forget it. Just pretend that I've never been here. The man turned around and was about to leave when Zhang Guo hurriedly stopped him. Wait, you. Help me restore my leg first, then I'll promise you. Bionic limbs can't be randomly thrown on the street. After a week, I'll come to you. At that time, I'll listen to your reply. After the man finished speaking, he opened the window and jumped down from the height of this 5-story building. Zhang Guo wanted to take a look. He struggled to get up, but he knocked down the infusion rack next to him and fell down, lying on the ground. Pain, humiliation, all poured into Zhang Guo's heart. He frantically hit the ground around him. His mouth issued bursts of wailing. Li Fan, I will make you suffer 10 times the pain. But at this time, Li Fan was busy participating in the parade on the last day of the military training. Every class had a parade, and it was the same for Li Fan and the others. This military parade was a test of all the students' military training career. One class after another formed a square formation and walked past the military parade platform. The school leaders stood on the parade platform with umbrellas over their heads, looking at the phalanx in front of them. The students this year seemed to be pretty good. As the captain of the phalanx team, Li Fan walked at the front of their class and shouted the slogan loudly. Although Li Fan felt that this kind of activity was a little boring, he still had to continue. However, listening to everyone in the class shouting slogans in unison and the sound of their footsteps was really a little hot-blooded. Wang Ying was also the captain. This little girl was standing next to him, shouting the slogan loudly. I didn't expect this girl to be so hot-blooded. Ever since he crippled Zhang Guo's leg, this guy really became more well-behaved. When the final parade was over, Li Fan's class actually won first place. Instructor Bai's face grew big, and he was extremely happy. Ha ha, I didn't expect to win first place with a girl group. That was what Instructor Bai told his comrades. Ah, the nightmarish military training is finally over. After the parade, Zhao Yingjun and the others were extremely happy. After they finished eating, they came out of the cafeteria and strolled around the campus. It was rare to have an afternoon break, so they couldn't just waste it. Let's go, we can go check out the club. Zhao Yingjun suggested. It's time for the club to recruit new members. Didn't you want to join the drama club? Wang Yang was a little surprised. Why do we still have to check out the club? The drama club is not bad, but there are too few girls. Zhao Yingjun sighed. It doesn't meet my requirements at all. It makes me feel like I have the ability to pick up girls, but there's no place for me to use it. As he said this, he took out a promotional poster of the anime club. Look, the anime club is full of girls who like to cosplay. Not only are there all kinds of benefits, I heard that there might even be doujinshi books or something. I'm very interested. You better calm down. Xiang couldn't help but advise, third brother. If you like a girl, you should pursue her seriously. You can't be fickle. Fuck off. You want to teach me how to pick up girls? Why can't I teach? Xiang was a little unconvinced. Zhao Yingjun turned his head and waved at a girl from the same class. Lele, Xiang is looking for you. What's wrong, Xiang? The girl walked over, but Xiang's face was red, unable to say a word. Xiang? What's wrong, Xiang? He wants to ask you. Which club do you want to join? Zhao Yingjun said to the girl with a smile. I'm not interested in clubs. I want to join the school dormitory committee. The girl said, joining the school dormitory committee is more interesting, and you'll have a lot of power. Then I wish you success. Thank you. The girl smiled sweetly, turned around and left. With your fighting ability, you still have the cheek to say you want to teach me? Wang Yang was a little depressed. He gave Zhao Yingjun a slap on the face. Lao Si is right. You should calm down a little, but it's fine to look at the clubs. Li Fan glanced at the road beside him. Both sides were clubs that were recruiting new members. Many students were choosing which club to join, and Li Fan wanted to take a look first. All right, let's go take a look. Wang Yang nodded. As the big brother of the dormitory, it was time for him to make a decision. The four of them walked along the school road, looking around as they walked. There were at least 100 clubs in G University, and every club had a simple platform with umbrellas by the side of the road to welcome the new students. Naturally, there was competition between clubs, and every club wanted to develop into a super big club. This was the club war between university students. It's the animation club. The animation club. Zhao Yingjun stopped in front of the animation club's reception, not wanting to leave for a long time. Not only him, but many men also didn't want to leave. In front of the animation club, there were two beauties cosplaying as twins Rem and Lamu. Even Li Fan couldn't help but take a few more glances, because these two girls were indeed twins. Zhao Yingjun was dumbfounded. This cosplay club was so hard-working. Where did they find such exquisite twins? Chapter 998. This pair of sisters looked almost exactly the same. The only difference was that one of the girls had a mole under her eye. He didn't know if she was the older or younger sister. Brothers, do you want to join the club? The girl who impersonated Rem winked at them. There are benefits if you join the club. What benefits? Looking at the two girls, Zhao Yingjun felt like he couldn't control the Qilin power in his body. For example, you can see his sisters every day. Rem winked at Zhao Yingjun. There's a new cosplay every day. Isn't that a benefit? Yes. Zhao Yingjun gave in. Fuck, you're too easy to bribe. Wang Yang couldn't help but mock Zhao Yingjun. You're a disgrace to men. Aya, you have a great figure. Rem continued to move closer to Wang Yang, and even reached out to gently touch Wang Yang's chest. Seems like you've worked out. You're very suitable to join our club and cosplay as some mighty male characters. Is that so? Am I suitable? Wang Yang touched the back of his head and giggled. Yeah, for example, we recently wanted to cosplay as 3 kingdoms. My sister and I are in charge of Xiao Qiao and a Qiao. I think you're very suitable for the role of Lu Bu. As soon as Rem said this, Wang Yang also fell into her gentle embrace. Then what am I suitable to cosplay as? Zhao Yingjun rushed to ask. Well, you're also very special. I think you're suitable to cosplay as Lu Chan. Good taste, the world is mine, ha ha ha. Zhao Yingjun and Wang Yang were excited, but Li Fan shrugged and turned to leave. Brothers, aren't you joining our club? Rem asked. Beside her, Ramu tugged at her sleeve and said in a low voice, If they don't want to, don't force it. How can we do that? Rim continued. Since we've joined the animation club, let's strive to make it a 100-man club. Otherwise, there's no point in the president putting us here. But, they'll be angry. No, this world is always tolerant of beauties. After Rim said that, he stopped Li Fan and the other two. Little brothers, the animation club welcomes everyone to join. You two should come too. Xiang Xiang did not dare to say a word. This kind of group with so many girls was not suitable for him at all. I'm sorry, we're not interested in the anime club. Li Fan spoke up for Xiangyi. He saw a LOL club up ahead. Although he did not know why there was such a club, he felt that it was quite suitable for Xiangyi. As for himself, Li Fan had already used his true qi to sense the surroundings, but he did not find a suitable club. Don't say that, classmate. Rim looked carefully at Li Fan's face and was surprised. Hey, you're Li Fan? Yeah, you know me? You're a freshman. How can I not know you? Rim laughed, while Lam, who was beside him, seemed to be afraid of Li Fan and even took 2 steps back. We all know that you beat more than 200 second-year sports students by yourself. Fuck, when did that happen? Li Fan wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. There are only 20 of them, okay? Sure enough, 3 people make a tiger. Li Fan now had a better understanding of this saying. Our third brother is a martial arts master. Zhao Yingjun could not help but brag for Li Fan, causing Li Fan to roll his eyes. Don't listen to his nonsense. I just learned a little self-defense. Then, you could try the karate club. Lam was a little shy. She stretched out her hand and pointed to the side. Li Fan looked over there and saw a group of people from the karate club recruiting new members. These people were all wearing white uniforms with ribbons of various colors around their waists. Li Fan glanced at them and saw that a few people actually had black ribbons, but he did not know if they were real or not. There's also the Kendo Club and the Taekwondo Club. Lam pointed to other places. These are the 3 biggest martial arts clubs in the school. Lam took over the conversation. If you don't like the anime club, you can join them. Not interested. Li Fan curled his lips. They're all for martial arts. I don't want to play with them. Is there no martial arts club or something? Nope, only this one. Lam shook his head. After all, no one is interested in martial arts these days. Karate and Taekwondo guys are so handsome, and they can even chase girls. No. Li Fan raised his eyebrows. Then I'll create one myself. Third brother, are you crazy? Zhao Yingjun was shocked. How can a newly established club have people, especially martial arts? Who knows that? If we can't gather 5 people in a week, we'll be forced to disband. What's there to be afraid of? It's easy to gather 5 people. Li Fan pointed to the 3 of them. Me, plus the 3 of you, that'll be 4. I'll get Lin Yuh's in to join too. That'll make 5. Li Fan already had 5 people in mind. Anyway, one person can sign up for several clubs at the same time, right? That makes sense. Wang Yang muttered. But if the martial arts club wants to train, it needs a venue at least, right? With less than 30 people, there won't be any classrooms for you. Besides, if no one wants to join and it's just a few of us, what's the point of having a club? Yeah, third brother, I think it's better if you join the anime club. Zhao Yingjun seemed to have become a member of the anime club and started to advertise for it. Look at all the girls here. When the time comes, if you cosplay some brave characters, you'll definitely attract a lot of people. I've made up my mind. Once Li Fan had decided on something, no one could change it. Then set up. I'm not going anyway. One person can only join 3 clubs. The drama club and anime club have already taken up 2 spots. I want to leave the last one for the dance club. I can watch girls dance. Zhao Yingjun laughed strangely. Do you really want to set up your own club? Rim seemed to be very interested. Yeah. Practicing martial arts? Yeah. You don't care even if you have to go against 3 big clubs? What's there to be afraid of? Li Fan didn't care about this. While I'm still young, I want to stir up some trouble. Then I'll sign up. Rim suddenly raised her hand and volunteered. Count me in. You want to learn martial arts? Li Fan was a little surprised. Believe it or not, I've practiced 8 trigrams palm. Rim winked at Li Fan. Want to get a try? Don't mess around. Rim pulled his sister. We can't do it. It'll cause trouble. Chapter 999. What's there to be afraid of? University is meant to stir up trouble. Rem mimicked Li Fan's words. What's the point of not stirring up trouble? Can I still apply to join the martial arts society? Zhao Yingjun hurriedly asked. Join my ass. Li Fan rolled his eyes at him. Go to your dance club. Can't I mend my ways? No. Li Fan reminded him. There's no turning back. Besides, I've thought about it. It's better to find some people who have practiced martial arts in the martial arts society. That's too cruel, Zhao Yingjun scowled. Can't you be merciful? Serves you right. Who told you to only care about girls? Wang Yang patted his chest. Unlike me, I'll serve my second brother wholeheartedly. You guys should just join the animation club. I won't quit the club. Rem said, the martial arts society should recruit people who like to practice martial arts. That's a good way to develop the society. That's true. Then I won't join the fun. Wang Yang thought for a moment. Besides the animation club, I also saw a society that studies the zhou-yi. I've decided to sign up for these two. Then I'll go with the animation, drama, and dance clubs. All right, let's go with the LOL club. I've already chosen it for you. Li Fan pointed to the recruitment club in the distance. What do you think? The direction nodded repeatedly. Although he didn't dare to speak, he could still nod. Rem stood at the side and pulled his sister. Sis, let's go together. No, we can't. Rem shook his head repeatedly. If Dad finds out, he'll beat us both to death. Nonsense. We're promoting Chinese martial arts. Dad should be happy if he finds out. Why would he beat us to death? Rem said with a grin. He might even praise us. I think you're thinking too much. Rem looked at his sister and said, No, trust me this time. It won't be wrong. Rem said and tugged at Li Fan's sleeve. How about it? Count me in. My name is Jiang Yuan. This is my sister, Jiang Fong. Both of us have learned some martial arts. If you accept us, I guarantee that you won't suffer any losses. This little girl's eloquence was not bad, but Li Fan felt that her words sounded strange. All right, then come with me. I'll go find a place to apply for a society. I'll go with you. Sis, why don't you join us as well? The three of us can apply together, and I can even be a vice president or something. Rem seemed to be very excited, even more excited than joining the anime club. I am not going. Rem shook his head violently. Then I'll tell Dad about your relationship in high school. Rem winked at Rom, and Rom panicked. Then I'll go. That's a good boy. Li Fan was dumbfounded. Who was the older sister, and who was the younger sister? You can go through the procedures here. Rem patted Zhao Yingjun's shoulder. When the president comes back later, please tell her that I'm going to do something else. Okay. Zhao Yingjun was still in a daze. See you in a bit. Rem took Rom's hand and left with Li Fan. Not long after they left, the other members of the anime club also finished eating and came back. What's going on? The president was shocked to find that the two girls who were supposed to be signposts had disappeared. Hello. President, I'm a new member, Zhao Yingjun, and this is my dormitory brother, Wang Yang. Jiang Yuan and the others went to do something, so they asked us to help keep an eye on them. The president was speechless for a long time. I told you it's definitely not okay to have only freshmen on duty. But their looks are really off the charts. Don't worry about it. Let's continue recruiting. There's still 3 days left. Let's try to recruit more people. The people of the anime club began to get busy. On the other side, Li Fan was leading the twin sisters to the club recruitment office at the end of the road. The two girls were cosplaying as iconic characters, and they were both top-notch beauties. One was cheerful and had a smile on her face, waving at the people around her as she walked. The other was shy, with her head lowered, not daring to look at the passers-by around her. This pair definitely attracted the attention of the people around them, and they were all stunned. There were also many boys who wanted to come forward and take photos with the two girls. Jiang Yuan, who cosplayed as Rem, did not reject any of them. She put on a variety of poses and let them take photos to their heart's content. The people around them were happy, but Li Fan was impatient. Jiang Yuan, if you dawdle a little longer, let's not apply today. The older sister hurriedly tugged at her younger sister. Jiang Yuan winked at Li Fan. Sorry, I'm too popular, and I can't help it. You should be used to it. Aren't you Shin Chen's boyfriend? I'm Shin Chen's friend, boyfriend, or whatever is just nonsense. Li Fan emphasized, don't say it wrong next time. Hey, there's actually someone who doesn't want to be Shin Chen's boyfriend? Jiang Yuan was a little surprised. Did I hear wrong? It might be sick in the head, Jiang Fong said in a low voice. Li Fan looked like he was about to cry. What was going on? Well, what my sister means is if you're not willing to be such a beautiful girl's boyfriend, there might be something wrong with you. I was wrong. Maybe I'm not sick in the head. Jiang Fong felt that Li Fan seemed to be a little angry, so she hurriedly waved her hand and clarified, maybe it's down there. There's something wrong down there. Ah, is that so? But how do we check this thing? By the way, Li Fan said he practiced self-defense. Could it be the Sunflower Treasure book? Jiang Yuan also said with a serious face. Hey, you sisters are too much. Li Fan was also convinced this pair of sisters was not to be trifled with. You guys, do you still want to join the club? Yes. Jiang Yuan hurriedly pulled her sister to keep up, walking beside Li Fan. But after just 2 steps, she could not help but feel a strong curiosity, so she approached Li Fan and asked in a low voice, Dad, President, you really can't do it down there? Fuck, if you talk nonsense again, believe it or not, I'll give you acupuncture. Li Fan stared angrily at Jiang Yuan. Hee, that won't do. I've been afraid of injections since young. It was unknown whether Jiang Yuan did not understand or was pretending. I'm afraid of pain. As she said that, one of her hands was still gently covering her buttocks. This girl is a little bit powerful. Li Fan forcibly turned his head and looked at the recruitment office of the Social Union Committee. Stop fooling around. Hurry up and apply. Yes, Mr. President. No problem, Leader Dongfang. Jiang Fong's reply was a little strange, but Li Fan endured it. This girl looked honest and shy, but in fact, she was more poisonous than her sister. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.